Hello, everyone. How is everybody doing? Hope everyone is doing well. Let me flip my mic to be. Let's see, is that the right mic? Yeah, there we go. Oh, wait, no. I think that's the wrong one. Yep, wrong mic. Just a second. Alright, there we go. Okay, now I'm on the mic I prefer. Okay, it's been a little while since I've done one of these, a random Star Wars EU stream, so just general Star Wars Expanded Universe discussion. I used to do them every once in a while. Let's see, when was the last one I did? The last one I did was number 6. This is number 7. See, I completed kindergarten, so I know that 7 comes after 6. I'm sure that's an impressive feat to be sure. Yeah, the last one I did was 2 whole months ago, so a whole sixth of a year ago was the last one I did. But it's been really fun. These usually go for a little while, so I'm prepared if that is the case. We'll see where discussion takes us. I've invited some guests, so maybe a couple people will be joining, some familiar faces. Dark greetings, Liam. Nice to see you. Um, and first of all, what I wanted to do is read a little bit out of a new guide that I got, Vader, the Ultimate Guide, which I purchased for LegendsCon. It's a guide from 2005, and the guide, is about Darth Vader. And it was released as a magazine in 2005 that tells you everything you need to know about Vader. Here's one of our first guests who's joined right now. Hello there, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. What's up?
What's up, Tuck? For those of you that don't know and aren't in my Discord server yet, TuckWes is one of the greatest people over there, and he's currently going by Rosh Pennon's #1 fan, and I've been meaning to have him on for a while. So how's it
Yeah,
going?
man. It's good to be here. I feel like I'm on a talk show.
Well, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is cool.
Absolutely, man. And Marcel has joined us as well.
Hello. Is that Tuck?
That is indeed Tuck.
Yes, sir, it is.
Amazing.
I love Chekbaka's face there, as always.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a mainstay. I have to use it. I'm contractually obligated to use it.
Where did you get the Rosh
The
Pennon
check.
image, Tuck?
Oh, I just like it was like the second or third thing on Google Images, so I was like, I'm stealing that.
Someone made that already?
Yeah, this looks old, like really old.
Wow.
They must have made this, I don't know, in the mid 2000s or something, because this is really, I mean, like if you see the full image, you can tell it's like a JPEG, like it's
Gotcha.
JPEG'd out. Yeah,
Someone needs to put those glasses on Chekbaka.
they do.
Yeah.
Uh, my Chekbaka shirt, Marcel, that I'm getting for LegendsCon is coming in this Tuesday.
That's amazing. Cannot wait.
So I will be matching you and Scott with the esteemed Czechoslovakian Heir to the Empire cover.
Yeah. It's just too bad Scott won't be coming with us to wear it in person. But
I gave him an impassioned plea to join us.
I know. I was there for it.
Yes. Oh, hello, Only Good Games. How's it going? We most definitely do. I wouldn't be a server without it. A Rosh fan, indeed. How's it going, Ghostfish? What have you guys been reading recently?
I'm about 33% of the way through Yoda Dark Rendezvous.
Very nice. How are you enjoying it so far?
The writing is excellent.
I definitely think so. What did you think of like the Yoda actor thing from the opening chapters?
I actually just got to that part.
Okay.
So, but it's hilarious. I thought I wouldn't really care for oh god, what's her name? Scout.
Yeah.
There's this tournament that she's in the beginning of the book where
Yep.
she has to but I really came around to her. I really came around to her plight of being not that strong in the Force, but still managing to win the tournament using her I don't know, cunning nature, and I think it's really well written.
Definitely. I also really like Wee Mauru, or Wee Maurix, however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
I think he's phenomenally written in that book.
Yeah, although I think you just spoiled something for me, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
His last name.
Okay, his last name. Okay, well, if you've read the Revenge of the Sith visual dictionary,
which I have not.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry about that. He's also in the movie.
I had already kind of made the connection because
Okay.
it was mentioned early on that Yoda found him on Viyun.
Yeah.
And his like father went insane, and I think Dooku had already sort of given the Mauru family history, so I kind of put two and two together, but I don't know if they've explicitly stated in the book yet.
Gotcha. Tuck, have you read Dark Rendezvous yet?
No, but it's on my list.
On your to-do list.
Yeah.
How extensive is that to-do list currently?
Oh, like 2/3 of the EU. Yeah, but it's so once I finish Vision of the Future, which I'm taking a small break from it right now, but once I finish that, I'll read Young Jedi Knights, and then probably Yoda Dark Rendezvous, although I'm not sure. There might be another one in between there, but I can't remember.
Yeah, this is a first time read for me because when I first read the EU originally, I kind of glossed over a lot of the Clone Wars books because the era didn't really interest me. Until like 2021, I think, is when I really got into the Clone Wars era.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it just took about 20 years, but I'm here now. I'm finally I'm on board with the Clone Wars.
Yeah. It was
the Republic comics that made the difference for me.
Very nice. Same. They got me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They got me early.
So I had most of them when I was a kid. And I just never bothered to actually read through them until a year and a half ago, and I was sold when I did. They're amazing.
What sorry, what's your favorite arc from Republic?
Well, people always say like Battle of Jabim, which I tend to agree that's one of the strongest arcs. I really liked what was his name? Segoro Autumn. He was the Republic Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
The Valor arc, right? Wasn't it called Valor?
And he comes back later on in the series too, and I just thought that was so
Honor
cool.
and Duty.
Yeah, right? Honor and Duty.
So yeah.
I mean, it's by no means my favorite arc, but it stands out to me, and it's one that people rarely ever mention. There's also the other storyline where Anakin is with Asherad Het, and he almost kills him.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, that one's always stood out to me.
Yeah.
What about you, Tuck? What's your favorite arc of Republic?
Of Republic or the Clone Wars section specifically?
Well, the Clone Wars section specifically of Republic.
It's got to be. I mean, it's got to be Starfighters of Rendili. That's got to be it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that section so much.
Yeah.
Shadowhunter for me is I think amazing.
An answer to the question there. Tuck, have you read Walkdown or Shadowhunter yet?
I have not read either of those, but at some point I'm gonna read the whole Reeves verse, and I'm gonna do chronological. So that one's on my short list. So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna get to it soon.
Nice.
I like Joe Schreiber, don't get me wrong, but I love Michael Reeves.
Oh yeah, Michael Reeves is of course a phenomenal writer.
Wow, you're coming through very clearly now. What happened?
Okay, yeah, I switched my mics. I thought I was on a different mic. I was connected to my headphone mic, which is terrible. I'm now connected to my laptop mic, which is surprisingly better.
Yeah, amazing.
Which is a slight against these headphones for sure. But yeah, I wrestle with this one. I have to slightly favor Mall Lockdown because I just think it's very distinct personally. But you can't beat Michael Reeves' style of writing. It's such a hard question. Rodimus Prime, how would you answer that question? Liam says Lockdown. Very cool. Why'd you stop Dark Rendezvous? Were you not getting into it, Ghostfish? So, taking a break from Vision of the Future, you said, Tuck.
Right. So right now I'm reading through the Essential Atlas, which is really,
Very nice.
really cool. It's super cool.
So
Yeah, it's a
cool.
Great source book. It's one of the best.
It's one of the best because it mentions the Jebby's homeworld in it.
Oh, does it really? I need to find that
It
one.
does. Check the Hapes cluster because the genius of Daniel Wallace and Jason Fry decided to put rainbow, spelled with an H instead of a W, into the Hapes cluster from the Design an Alien magazine contest. These guys were literally pulling through every single
Yeah, that's
piece of EU
deep
material they had.
deep cut. That's a deep cut right there.
For sure.
Let's talk about the Hapes cluster for 1 second. So, I was listening to an audiobook. Maybe it was the Revenge of the Sith novelization. Might have been something else. But they said Hapes, and I've heard other people. I think it was like Meg Review says Hapes too, and I was like, has it been Hapes this entire time? Because I say Hapes, like
well,
you.
then how are the people called? The Hapons? The Hapens?
Because if it's Hapes, they can still be called the Hapens.
Hapen, yeah.
So I have a confession to make. I say Hapes.
You say Hapes.
You might be
Yeah.
right though. So I don't know.
Have I been in the wrong for 5 years? I've always said Hapes. I think that's what Matt Wilkins says, right?
One day when I get my act together, I'm going to make a pronunciation video
For everything?
The pronunciation chist for as much as I can.
We need that badly.
We need that desperately.
Yeah.
Make sure to highlight Vergary.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Verjay, as one of our friends
Yeah.
likes to say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You might also want to teach the pronunciation for male instead of or for female instead of male, since Vergier is female. Some people have a hard time knowing that.
So as long as I've known that name, I've always pronounced it Vergier. Are you saying it's not Vergier?
No, I think it's Vergier as well.
I also think it's Vergier.
Here, just a sec. Ghostfish, I got you.
I see Max in the comics. Hello, Max.
Yeah, I put that comment up. Ghostfish, I don't remember what it is. Can you give me a hint at what it is without giving away the full email address? Thank you. So Rodimus prefers Shadowhunter, but Lockdown is great too. Yeah. Okay, see you, Liam. Well, Alex, we don't know what that is. He says Hapes or Hapes.
I think he's saying I say Hapes too, like as in us, like the same as us.
I have to agree with Ghostfish on this one.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I like Hapes better.
Y'all's mind is in the gutter.
Yeah. Yes, I am indeed Brennan. The Journal of Episode 1, good or bad? Which ones? The ones by Jude Watson and Dave Wolverton? They did Padme, Maul, Anakin, and maybe some others. I've only read the Maul one for the episode 1 journals. That one's by Jude Watson, I believe. Or no. Is that Ryder Wyndham? I can't remember. Let me look this up. I've only read one of them, and from what I recall, it was pretty good. It added a little bit of insight, and that insight was referenced again in, well, apparently, because I've not read this one yet, in Ryder Wyndham's Wrath of Darth Maul book. You know, the scholastic ones that like summarize characters' lives within the EU. The events of episode 1 journal was mentioned again. But let's see. There's an Anakin one by Todd Strasser, who I've never heard of. There's a Queen Amidala one by Jude Watson. There's a Darth Maul one by Jude Watson. And that's it. So I've only read the Darth Maul by Jude Watson one. Have either of you read the episode 1 journal books yet?
No, but I think I own one or two of them, and I can't remember which ones.
Yeah, I've only read the Darth Maul one, and that's the only one I own.
How does that deal with the Clone Wars Maul, the Darth Maul one?
Well, the Darth Maul one was released prior to the Clone Wars.
Oof.
So it doesn't address it, but...
So it says he's from Iridonia?
Yeah.
Speaking of Iridonia, small plug for my channel. I will be putting out Iridonian Darkness this weekend, which, at least the first part, which I said to someone that I was going to put out last weekend, but got really busy this week with other stuff. So it'll come out this weekend.
I mean, that tends to happen.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that one. From what I recall, Iridonian Darkness is quite story heavy.
I feel like I've done it justice. I've pulled out all the story elements, and I haven't really added any additional words. I've changed some pronouns. Instead of you, I've changed it to like they, because it's like you go into this canyon, and I'm like they go into the canyon, right? Just to make it a bit more third person.
What is that person when it says you? Is that second person?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because it always annoys me when the RPG stories do that. Yeah.
Well, I'm used to it because I play a lot of RPGs, but yeah, that's they want you to put yourself in the shoes of the protagonist and stuff like that.
The unidentified character.
I just think it's so interesting how they, like, unbeknownst to me, who's supposed to be this big KOTOR fan in that era, they fleshed out the Jedi Civil War throughout all these small little RPG modules.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are you going to read what's the story called that I covered? Infestation?
Oh, most certainly. But Infestation, isn't that like a new Jedi Order?
Infestation is set during Taris, with the KOTOR comics.
Oh, right. With the Boma beasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually, yes. I'll probably just go back to it. Right now, it's not on the schedule, but I will. Okay. It's so small, so I'm certainly gonna read it and include it in my channel for completeness' sake.
Ghostfish, I did not get the email. If you could please send it again, I will definitely send you an invite. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to all that's coming to your channel, Marcel, because that's like one of the brightest parts of any bad day is when I see a new reading.
Hopefully a good day as well.
Well, it turns a bad day into a good day.
Oh, okay, that's good to hear. Tuck, when's your channel coming? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I'm not going to make one.
Dang.
You have some great insights for the stuff that you read. When we've had some great discussions on the Discord. I think you totally should make a channel.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't like personally, I just don't like social media. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a Twitter. I don't have a Facebook.
Probably wise.
Yeah. It's just better for my mental health, you know.
For sure. I just love hearing people talk about the expanding universe. I mean, like Chris Nelson said several months back, just like let 1,000 flowers bloom. That's my mentality.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
It's always great to discover new channels. I'm going to shout out a couple real quick that I've discovered recently. there's a smaller channel called Star Wars Discussion, and he's a dual canon channel, but he's done I think 3 EU book reviews so far. He's
great.
reviewed Lightsider, Shadowhunter, and I think one of Zahn's books, and he really likes the EU. Oh, and I think Lockdown as well. And he really seems to like the EU, and he's had some really cool thoughts in his reviews. So I'd definitely recommend checking it out.
I just love how people have started reviewing Lightsider. That's so cool.
So cool, for sure. And regardless of how the release may or may not have come out the right way,
Yeah.
I think it would make him happy that so many people loved his work.
Yeah.
And are getting to discuss it in such a positive light. I've not heard one bad thing about Lightsider so far, except
most people
it wasn't completed.
Yeah, exactly. I think most people who I've talked to have read it say it's probably his best written work.
Yeah, I agree with that. CT 2003, you should definitely.
Absolutely, man.
Yes, Iron Inquisitor has a really cool video coming up. We talked about it a bit privately. Definitely go over and check it out. It's an important topic, I would say.
I always love
definitely
Iron
go
Inquisitor's
check it out.
videos, so I'll happily check that out.
His Mara one is one of my favorite videos. I send it to people all the time.
Yeah, the
Even
Mara
in,
one's
like,
great.
Even in casual conversation with Star Wars fans in public, they know that supposedly George hated Mara. So I have sent like 3 people who I know personally in real life that video. Hello, Ghostfish.
Howdy.
How's it
Hey, man.
going?
Glad I can be heard. Wonderful.
It's been a minute.
It's been a
has
while,
been.
yeah.
I have not talked in a while. Problem with me keeping myself ridiculously private is you have one of my emails, and I think only one person has my Discord, and I just get weird that way. So, do you guys play RTSs? Because
sometimes.
the Empire at War mod, Thrawn's Revenge, the Imperial Civil War one, updated recently.
That is right.
That's
I
cool.
heard about that. Yeah.
And guess what you can play now?
Please tell
Cyrus?
me.
Not yet, but they're working on it.
They're working on
That's really
Pirate.
Let me give
Wow.
you one hint. Dark Greetings.
Jedi Prince, no way.
You can play the Moffrins. You can
Oh,
play
wow.
the Essential Committee of Grand
What?
Moffs on Kessel.
That's insane.
They did a lot. Instead of going from Pestage to Izard, you can go from Pestage to Hissa and Trioculus.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's
You get
pretty incredible.
You get the weird flamethrower digging mining borer tanks that burned down a bunch of Yavin 4 as a unique ground unit if you choose that option.
That's awesome. Ghostfish Alex asks how you are.
I've been doing good, Alex. Glad to see you around.
Here's a question for everyone. Asajj Ventress EU backstory versus her Clone Wars backstory. Which one is better? I have a feeling I know which one all of us are going to say.
I'm definitely lean towards the EU backstory, although I do like hair, so not being an actual Ratataki has some benefits. I do find it funny that they hired her voice actress to voice various Ratataki in SWTOR, and she's no longer a Ratataki.
Oh wow, that's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, like you'll have her. There's a Ratataki on in a quest on Tatooine. That's, I believe,
Yeah.
her voice actress, and she's no longer Ratataki, so it's kind of funny.
Well, let me ask:
What do you
isn't it the case that she is? So the Clone Wars acknowledges that she was on Ratatak with the Jedi Master, and then he
They
got
never
killed.
say that it's Ratatak, but it's Ratatak.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So effectively, she did end up getting stranded on Ratatak, and
Right, like it wasn't a complete contradiction. It was more just like
Yeah.
there's more to
they
the
actually
story here.
did try to fit that in, unlike say Ryloth or Mandalore, which just no longer resemble their Legends version at all.
Dathomir.
Dathomir, you could pretend it's just one part of the area with really weird weather, but you kind of can't. You know?
Yeah.
You could pretend that it's a weird weather phenomena that turned the sky red, and well, technically, even in Legends, I think Katie Lucas because I believe most of the Night Sister stuff was Katie Lucas written, as far as I recall. Like, I think she's credited on almost every episode with Ventress's origin stuff.
Right.
She either wanted to focus just on the Night Sisters, or she actually remembered Wolverton said the Night Sisters don't use Rancors, which is something the people who made Empire at War just completely ignored. Like, they had a whole bit about how only the semi-good witches could bond with the Rancor, and the Night Sisters, they sooner die than serve a Night Sister. But Forces of Corruption just has Silri running around summoning Cuddles, and all of her allies also ride Rancors.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Would you agree with Ghostfish that EU Ventress is better than TCW Ventress?
Yes, I would, definitely.
I mean, there's still just enough room to fit the two in. The only difference is that she can actually grow hair and she just chooses not to, but
yeah. I think the two characters are malleable. They can be merged into one entity.
The only thing that really doesn't fit is their endings. But at that point, that had been a full divergence because that book is only new canon. So,
well, yeah, Dark Disciple is not EU, but there are other things here and there, like pertaining to her master and the circumstances of her master's death, as well as her master's discovery of her. I do think it can be merged to fit. Or perhaps Marcel's right, and there were two Ventresses all along.
Well, I'm more of a fan of the theory that Ventress was brainwashed.
Interesting. I've not heard that one.
So she leaves an obsession. This is a Joe Bongiorno theory. I think it's on his website.
Oh, very cool.
But she leaves an obsession. So, it's true, all of it. And then Dooku captures her and basically brainwashes her and implants her with false memories. And that's why she's still working for Dooku in TCW.
All right.
Interesting.
I mean,
so
most of TCW takes place before.
Technically, you'd have to shove all of TCW after it, which
I've heard people say
Anakin's knighthood.
Yeah, I've heard people say that the comics you can shove them in like the first 3 months of the Clone Wars, which is insane to me. But
I especially because I believe they do switch to Phase 2 armor before they should if you were to cram all of the comics in the first 2 months.
Right.
Phase 1 armor, I believe, lasts not half the war, but almost half the war. It's like at least a year into the war before they switch out in most sources.
See, and it's not even just the armor; it's also the ships as well.
Yep, I love the early confusion. I mean, it could be pointed to as a contradiction if you wanted to, but the early confusion about what the fuck the clones were flying as starfighters. I'm sorry for swearing. I shouldn't have. I realize this is not a channel for that. Sorry.
You're okay.
But there was a lot of confusion about what the heck clones were supposed to fly. The Republic comics and Jedi Starfighter basically had them with no fighters of their own. The Pandemic Clone Wars game had swarms of Jedi Starfighters that clearly had to have at least some clone pilots because there just aren't that many Jedi flying around. Especially in the cutscenes by that Russian studio who did the cutscenes, but even in the gameplay, the in-engine stuff is there's a lot of Jedi Starfighters. Pandemic's the Clone Wars game, the one with the Dark Reaper.
Okay, the 2002 game?
Yeah, the one that came out basically right after the movie. Had
yeah,
the
that's a good game. Yeah.
Had the tie-in to the Boba Fett comics.
Yeah.
And Tales of the Jedi.
And Tales of the Jedi, yeah. But the
Beautiful.
Boba Fett Young Reader stuff. The Boba Fett Young Reader stuff is also has its own say on what clones fly. They have the Cord class starfighter, which has one laser cannon and nothing else, and never shows up anywhere else, never gets a visual inspection.
I quite like those Boba Fett Young Readers books, but they feel kind of tonally at odds with other stuff.
They're tonally at odds. They're very kiddish compared to some of the Star Wars has some very good children's and young adult stuff. Jude Watson stuff, Young Jedi Knights, Galaxy of Fear, even though that's literally just a Goosebumps reference. It honestly feels about as kiddish, or maybe even more kiddish at times, than Jedi Prince, which is weird.
Yeah. I like what Iron's saying here. he rectifies it by saying the Night Sisters implanted false memories into Ventress's mind with their powers.
Oh,
that could be too.
They convinced her that she was one of them rather than the
Exactly.
other way around. That's
I like that.
possible, but then how do you explain her growing hair?
They implanted
Follicles,
magical they implanted magical alchemy based follicles in her head.
Yeah.
It's a toupee.
Yeah.
It's a toupee all along.
Well, if she had to put on a toupee, then she'd know that she wasn't a knight. She'd know that she wasn't Dathomiri, but
maybe they used special glue.
yes. What else was there?
Alex sets all of TCW in the 3rd year.
Yeah. So yeah, it is very weird that they don't have.
Hey, Titus.
So the Cord class starfighter, I just imagine is the A6 interceptor from what do you call it, with the droid virus or the hyperspace virus, the Stark Hyperspace War.
Yeah, gotcha.
I just imagine it looks like that, except instead of the 3 little guns, they just have one big gun in the nose. And that's just what the Cord class starfighter is. It's a variant of the A6. That's complete headcanon. I have no justification for that whatsoever. But instead of the 3-barrel auto blaster, they just have one gun. Because there's never any pictures of what the hell a Cord class starfighter even looks like.
It's always annoying when there's no visual of something. I like to use my imagination, but it's helpful to picture things, and also more retcons can be made when you know what a ship looks like, what a certain technology looks like, what a certain species looks like.
Although, speaking of stuff, I really wish Seti Ashgad had played a bigger role in Plagueis. He didn't play any role in Plagueis. He got a brief mention in he got a brief mention in Cloak of Deception, but Plagueis makes Palpatine a gearhead, a speed demon, makes Plagueis' master a shipwright, and makes Plagueis still heavily invested in the shipping industry. And you have this guy who invented the Headhunter, or co-invented it alongside a group of other people, and the Trandoshans, because Subpro, the company that worked with Incom to make the Headhunter, is a Trandoshan company.
It's a shame that he didn't mention him, but I mean, it's a
character a long book that comes
it's a character that comes from Barbara Hambly. But Labyrinth of Evil mentioned him.
Labyrinth mentioned him too, huh? I thought it was Cloak of Deception, not Labyrinth of Evil, but oh well. Or maybe
Labyrinth. Maybe it was both, yeah. So we know that Lucino has mentioned him.
Yeah, before. I know that he has mentioned him in one of his other 2 books. I just kind of wish the Plagueis book would have been a great place to slot it in, because
I agree.
Yeah,
I actually would be kind of fun to have him literally drag race Palpatine at some point, just actually having a race with Palpatine.
I don't know where you'd fit that in that book. I
don't know where you would fit it in either, but you could mention that it had happened off page and just leave it from fan fiction.
I always feel like Plagueis is like paced perfectly, but again, there's so much EU that there's more you could have easily fit in there. You could have a whole trilogy set around those events, in my opinion, and I wouldn't be bored. I'd be interested to know every meal that Plagueis ate on every day. Like, I don't even care.
Well, you can say nutrient slop every time after he got attack after the failed assassination attack. You just drink slop every day, but that narrows it down a little.
Narrows it down, significantly. But
I like
Anonymous Gamers just read Shatterpoint for the first time.
Oh yeah.
What do you guys think of Shatterpoint? Because I think it's good. I think it's solid, but I think it's overrated personally.
I have not read it yet. I read Shadows of Mindor, which has Nick from from there, come back, and I liked Nick in that, so I'll get around to Shatterpoint at some point.
Yeah, Nick's an interesting character.
I did have a lot of issues with Shadows of Mindor, though, that I actually wanted to go to Legends Con just to talk to Stover about.
Yeah,
will you be at Legends
Con?
That
on
I will not, unfortunately.
Ah, man.
I don't want to. California's a long way away. I don't really want to go to California. It's just too much work.
What are the issues that you had with Mindor, Ghostfish?
Mostly saying that TIE fighters don't have repulsor lifts, which they absolutely do, and that TIE defenders are built without particle shields, which they absolutely have. I have dumped multiple concussion missiles into a TIE defender before, and it has not blown up. So they have particle shields. They could have easily said that after the Zarin insurrection, the supply line to get particle shields had started breaking down, so they'd fit them with weak ones, and like use that as the excuse. They have particle shields, they just kind of suck. But also, he makes everything fly so fast.
Yeah.
That nothing should not have a particle shield in that, because they die if they hit a speck of dust.
At least he doesn't describe ties in his book as flying herkily jerkily, ziggly zaggly.
Yes.
Like
some Wendy neighbor. It's neighborino. That line sounds like it's spoken by Ned Flanders.
Yeah. Can't we just say that aspect of Mindor is
part of the
audio, or the holodrama that it's
holodrama,
yeah. A lot of the weird things you could say are just the holodrama. I do really like that he was one of the only authors to acknowledge that Hobby's got 2 mechanical limbs. It very, very rarely comes up. I think even Alston didn't really bring it up, and
not at all. He didn't, because I just read those books.
Yeah, I don't think he could have fit it in at one point, because when they're punching people in Starfighters of Adamar, but I don't think it comes up even then.
Pico, I got a big laugh out of your name there. How is it to be the ambassador of Hologram Fun World?
Oh, it's great, actually.
You know Lando, then?
Yeah, of course I do.
Of course.
He's my boss. I mean,
naturally.
He owns the place.
Can we address Alex's reductionist comment?
Which one?
That if I wanted Heart of Darkness, I'd go to Heart of Darkness.
I think he's referring to the Heart of Darkness comic book.
No, he's saying that if he wanted Heart of Darkness, he'd just read the Heart of Darkness story instead of reading Shatterpoint.
What a crazy comment to make, Alex. I expect better from you. That's such bait. Okay, listen. With that kind of mentality, it's like, if I wanted to go see a zombie movie, then I'd go watch a zombie movie. I don't need to read any of Joe Schreiber's books. Yeah, it's like.
To be fair, if I wanted zombies in Star Wars, I'd just read either that one short story from the Adventure Journals or Galaxy of Fear book 2.
Yeah, I'm not saying that like Shatterpoint's the greatest thing ever. In fact, I read it when it first came out, and I don't remember much of it. So I don't even know whether or not I'd still like it if I were to reread it today.
Yeah, I should read Heart of Darkness and then read Shatterpoint. That's one of the things, like, I want to do one before the other, but it's a lot harder to get.
I wonder if I'm alone in really, really loving Shatterpoint.
I know you love Shatterpoint.
It's one of the most commonly recommended books in, like, when people want the good stuff, so it can't be that bad.
Because it's cool and edgy. That's why.
It is.
I wouldn't call it edgy. It's just messed up.
I think Shatterpoint tried to do a war, right? And I think MedStar, at least MedStar 1, did it better personally. Like, for showing the brutal side of a war. I thought MedStar did it better.
I have only listened to the abridged MedStar audiobooks. I have not had the chance to read the full things, but I like them, so.
Yeah, I'll say Shatterpoint. Oh, sorry.
You go ahead.
I forgive Alex for his pushing my buttons with that comment.
A formal apology and a formal forgiving with witnesses.
Anyways, continue. I'll be quiet now.
Well, I was gonna say that Shatterpoint does have that scene where Mace puts the kids in the freezer. That sounds terrible, but if you read it, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He put the kids in the freezer to stop the bleeding or something, right, or to slow down their blood flow. And he comes back, and this other kid has like stabbed all the other frozen kids to death. That's so messed up.
It felt unnecessary. Some of it felt a little gratuitous to me. Not as gratuitous as Schreiber's books or even Kemp's books. Kemp was like edgy from the beginning. With Deceived, he cut a scene that he'd written where Sith were going to be playing soccer with the heads of the Jedi they'd killed. So he cut that from Deceived. I would have enjoyed reading it, kind of, because I'm curious, but at the same time he cut it there. But then he channeled all of that energy into Cross Current and Riptide, where there was some truly graphic gore going on. I was like, am I reading a Joe Schreiber book? What is going on here? But at the same time, they're really fun. With Jaden Core, who Rosh Pennon knows quite well.
He got his arm lopped off.
Yeah.
Banding around him.
Yeah, I really think Jaden Core should have been one of the female options, and
Yeah.
the
I can
Jedi
see
Exile
why.
should have
It
been a
makes
guy.
Rosh more creepy.
Yep, makes Rosh a lot more like Myron, same voice actor in Fallout 2, the really, really, really creepy kid who invented the drug jet.
Yeah, I'm glad that that Jaden Core wasn't a female, just so that my profile picture didn't have a different connotation.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. But what was I gonna say? I really liked, somebody made a review of Jedi Academy, and they just have Rosh's voice replaced with other lines by the same voice actor. I don't know if they use anything from Myron, but they use a lot of his stuff from Max Goof in the Goofy movie, and a lot of other things like that.
That's so funny.
Or was he Max Goof, or was he the rock star that Max wanted to see? I don't remember, but yeah, they use so many of his lines from other games and TV shows and cartoons. It's silly. I quite liked it.
Pico, what have
Hi.
you been reading in the EU recently?
Well, seeing as I'm currently the ambassador of the hologram fun world,
Oh yeah.
there's Jedi Prince. I just
Of course.
recently finished that. I'm going to be reading Noah's fanfic tomorrow because he asked me to do that.
I wanted to read Noah's fanfic, but fanfiction.net. I always use the highlight thing to keep track of where I am when reading online, and fanfiction.net does not allow you to do that because they don't want people copy pasting somebody else's work, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
I have the file. So
Ghostfish, if you're comfortable with, I was gonna say, if you're comfortable, I could just send you the file because I also have it on my desktop.
Oh yeah, sure. Quinlan can send you my email.
I can give you the email.
That would be good. I've read part of what I was reading recently was a lot of Hand of Thrawn 45 stuff. I also had a bit of a heart attack thinking he died.
Hand of Thrawn,
his
author?
official name, Gregory, the pen name at least, like Gregory O'Keefe
Gregory
or
O.
something. Scott. Somebody like that had died in this March.
Oh wow.
March 8th was the obituary. The most recent upload was thankfully March 16th. So unless he came back from the dead 8 days later to post his fan fiction, he's not dead, thank goodness.
Nothing will stop Hand of Thrawn from destroying the Denningverse.
Not even death.
Not even death.
Honestly, of all the things, of whichever solo kid, bringing back Jason doesn't work. You could have brought back Anakin and just hand waved it and said Centerpoint, recreated an android body for him, because Centerpoint can do whatever the fuck the plot demands it do. And it would have made somewhat more sense than however the hell he brings back Jason.
Hello, Slov. This is indeed a brandy. Alex remembers when you thought he died? Yes. Yeah, of course, Noah's famous quote.
Oh, and then I also finished the Marvel series today.
108 as well?
Yep, 108 too.
What did you think of 108?
I like 108. It's a nice little epilogue. It's not really needed, but it's there. I think it's a nice throwback to Valence and
I had
Jackson.
issues with the physics of Valence's survival. I think I've been over this on a stream before. Where metal transmits heat and would have baked whatever was left of his brain. Now, maybe you could have taken that another degree further and said it did destroy everything organic in him, which makes him getting healed by that machine even more of a miracle. And you know what? I'd take it. That would work if they had just said, literally, he is all droid now. He's just got his memories in there, and this thing is a complete miracle that heals him. I'm
willing to suspend my disbelief just because I wanted more EU. But
True.
Yeah, the physics of Valence returning is a little unbelievable.
Unless he got fished out immediately.
Some complaints I heard about it was some people were complaining that Jackson and Amiza, their appearance felt really forced. I didn't get that at all. You got that as well? Okay.
I think the first time they showed up, because they showed up twice. The first time I felt very forced, because it was like a 2-page chapter, and they're just kind of there.
Yeah.
Also, hi, Slov.
I think
the second time when they're actually fighting with Valens, I think it makes way more sense.
I think the art was really good too. It really emulates the original series. It feels modern, yet it manages to capture the tone and style throughout the entire series, in my opinion.
I need
the
to
colors
reread
also
108.
are so on point.
I need to reread it myself. I
was
don't even know if I read it fully the first time.
Well, there was a very disconcerting poll that Chris Nelson and Matt Wilkins ran.
Most of us hadn't read it, yeah.
Where most of us haven't read it, which that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
If we as a movement are serious about we want more EU content, and then the one piece of EU content we got, none of us have actually read. Like that's not a good thing.
Well, I disagree with that. In fairness, I think that's a skewed kind of outlook because most EU fans haven't read.
I was going to say I didn't read.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good point.
I was waiting for finishing that.
Yeah. If this was like Crimson Empire 4 or something like that, and nobody had read it, then I would be concerned.
Yeah,
I'm not even a huge Crimson Empire fan, but I still would have probably read it. Oh, yeah. I met the guy who did the covers for Crimson Empire. He was nice, or at least the line art for the covers. I mean, they were painted over.
Dave Dorman.
Dave Dorman.
No, it was one of the people who helped make the covers, not the one who painted them.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool. Did you get him signed?
No, I didn't bring. I kind of went to Terrificon basically just with nothing in my pockets and not even enough money to buy most of the things. I lucked into a couple of free things. Like being the only person to know the Samoflange outtake got me a nice, signed Lion-O thing, which was cool.
That's cool.
Being one of the people who instantly recognized and my eyes lit up seeing the X-Man versus Abomination in the sewers comic got me something.
So what is a Samoflange exactly?
It's a nonsense technical word made up for the Thundercats cartoon.
Or it's otherwise known as one of Matt Wilkins' podcasts.
Exactly. That's why I ask what it means.
Okay, so basically, at some point, there's get your foot off that blasted Samoflange. And it's just a nonsense word for technical piece of, like, the Thundercats tank.
I see, okay.
And Lion-O's voice actor at one point responded, "What the is a Samoflange?" I don't remember if it was hell or an F-bomb, but something like that. And that was just one of the most famous outtakes from the Thundercats show.
That's so cool.
And that's just what Matt latched onto. I don't even know if Matt had seen the outtakes first or if he just hung on to that word from the actual show itself as kind of a weird thing. The people who made World of Warcraft also really liked the Samoflange outtake because there are various quests for a Samoflange in the Barrens in Vanilla WoW, and engineers make Samoflanges as, components of other technology or like the tool that they use to make other technology.
I thought it was I thought it was
later
food.
WoW.
I thought
nope, it's a piece of technology.
It's so funny.
It's a doohickey. It's a widget. It's kind of just a placeholder name for a piece of technology. It's technobabble. It's fun.
Yeah. And Slov, it's always been September 9th and 10th since they announced the dates.
Although at one point they said September 13th and 14th, which was really weird. Like one post.
Oh yeah, I couldn't make September 9th and 10th anyway. I'm going to a family reunion then anyway.
Okay, let me tackle this comment for a second. The Cestus Deception was a serviceable palate cleanser at best. It's not the greatest Clone Wars story ever written, but it was pretty decent at least. Okay, wow. Just finished it today right after Shatterpoint. Wow, I'm surprised. I'm glad you liked it because I'm a fast reader. For context, I read, 4 or 5 Young Jedi Knights books in one weekend one time. I don't know if that's fast. I can read maybe a 400, 500 page book in a day if I'm not busy. But Cestus Deception took me 3 months to read because I just was not feeling motivated to turn the page. I know Alex has read Cestus Deception. What would you say?
Pretty much the same. It didn't take me 3 months because I had to release a YouTube video. That was the only thing motivating me to keep going. But if I had the luxury of just not doing it for 3 months, I would have. It's very
All right,
boring.
but hold on 1 second.
Wow, Titus likes
What
it too.
if Cestus Deception is a palate cleanser? What exactly is it? What exactly was so bad that you needed Cestus Deception to cleanse it off of your palate?
He
Probably
read
stealth and sleep.
he read Shatterpoint first, actually.
Oh, see, this is why I'm right.
So I think I'm going to read Shatterpoint on the way to Legends Con.
Just so he can yell at me when he sees
Matt
this.
So you'll be
versus-
fresh. It'll be fresh in your mind when you want to talk to Stover about it. That's
Well,
nice.
Marcel versus Alex at the con.
Well, I know.
Shatterpoint
Maybe
debate.
I agree. Maybe I agree with Alex. How do you know? Maybe I'll agree.
Quickly,
I
guys.
do
let's
hope
book a
one of you
panel.
guys will ask him, like, what's up with that? Is that just supposed to be part of the Hollow Thriller where they get certain technical details wrong? Because we see TIEs hover, and anyone who's played TIE Fighter or X-Wing Alliance knows that they do have particle shields. And see if he has, don't make it as confrontational as I made it sound, but just that your friend is kind of weirded out by that.
How do I ask Michael Stackpole about Solonians without sounding weird?
No, he'll find it funny.
I'm gonna tell.
tricky. I'm gonna try to
I'm
make
gonna
it
ask him dating advice.
I'm gonna tell Mike Stackpole he didn't go far enough.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We need the intrinsity of how
You should have just
Michael-
gone outright and named him Corin Horny from the beginning. Been more
Uh,
honest.
ask
That guide to
Stackpole.
alien
Ask
species should have
Stackpole if he
mentioned
has
their. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said the guide to alien species should have mentioned their. Never mind. Actually,
Allergenic potential.
This is
They're
a PG stream.
the rocky center till you get to the soft.
Oh God! No. Oh,
yeah.
please
Is that what
no!
you're talking about, Marcel?
Right.
We
You
need
described
diagrams
it-
of
you
the,
described it like you'd
guide to the
imagine-
aliens.
I don't
You
even
described
know
it like
what
it was
this
an
means,
otter.
Slav.
It was really
yeah.
weird.
I don't even know what this means, Slav.
That's a threat. That is a threat.
Oh, Slav, have you ever read Harold Bloom's The Anxiety of Influence?
Is that high literature? If not, he's not interested.
Seems like
Well,
psychoanalysis.
Slav's a big fan of
Slav
Harold Bloom,
is a
so I wanna know.
sophisticated fellow.
Slav reads
No,
only high quality fiction.
I specifically ask about Harold Bloom's Anxiety of Influence because Slav has talked about Harold Bloom a lot in the past. and
Okay.
So I want to know.
Okay.
Slav reads high literature only. That's why he hasn't read the EU. That's out of his own mouth.
Yeah.
Slav,
yeah,
let's read it together. Sorry.
But he'll listen to audiobooks eventually of it. Because that takes less time. So you can waste
Yeah,
his
he
time
has-
listening to audiobooks of lesser, literature.
I'm kind
but
of glad
can't
I
read
have
it.
reasons not to make it to Legends Con because I probably bring up some of the BattleTech controversies with Stackpole and get kicked out. So yeah, no, not happening.
What are those controversies? Tell us on stream.
They fired some dude for politics and Stackpole backed the firing. So I'm
Oh,
not a
I
big fan of that.
I know that. I saw that on Open Airlock stream.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the whole Kevin J. Anderson thing with how he
Kristen
sided
Captain
with
Rush. Yeah.
Yeah, Kristen Catherine Rush. He got the axe, sadly. Can you imagine a Kevin J. Anderson like post New Jedi Order story?
Oh, that'd be so
Would've been
fun.
fantastic.
Like with Lana.
Yeah.
What happened
absolutely.
with them?
Well, Kristen
They just didn't
Catherine
want to use
Rush.
them.
Kristen Catherine Rush did some political stuff that the studio didn't agree with, if I recall correctly. So they were firing her, and he sided with her and was like,
I
if she
actually
goes, I'm going.
know. I actually think I know a little bit about this.
Okay.
So
Enlighten
what
me.
I heard was that they were there was a dispute about royalties, right?
Okay. Royalties.
And I believe it was Kevin J. It was Christine Catherine Rush, and there were a couple other people, I believe. But what's interesting
How do you
is
spell her
that
name?
it's like 2 K's and an R. It's really weird.
She's the
It
author
is-
of The New Rebellion. If you need to
Oh
look it
yeah,
up.
I loved the New Rebellion.
I did
So
too.
so basically, and what's weird is that there was this document that went out. She said that she didn't even sign it. That she
That's right.
didn't even know it was that it existed.
Wow.
And then she got the axe, which is New Rebellion's a great book, so that's a terrible thing that happened.
That's show business, baby.
Conspiracy theory. It was Karen Travis trying to clear female writers so that she could eventually
She'd be
get
the
a
first
spot.
one.
Exactly.
Well, so Kristen Catherine Rush and Kevin J. Anderson were supposed to come up with like some kind of large compendium, like timeline compendium.
Yeah, I know.
For the EU.
And she was very good about continuity. She was great.
Incredible. New Rebellion is really good. Really
as
good.
far as continuity, I would say New Rebellion is up there. Maybe not quite with the the Han Solo trilogy by Crispin, which is I think of the era the best. It was like Plagueis before Plagueis.
Is New Rebellion the best one-off novel in Bantam? What
I don't love how Luke breaks his leg again or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
They do use the crippled Luke.
Yeah, the crippled
crutch.
Luke. Yeah.
The crippled Luke crutch is a little bit much, but that rhymed. Kind of.
I'm gonna get destroyed, but iJedi is the best one-off Bantam.
No, based.
I agree.
I actually really like iJedi. I'm not with Matt on that one.
No one's gonna consider Crystal Star, or at least Truce at Bakura.
Actually, no,
up
Crystal
there,
Star,
but
sorry.
knowing the sad background where that editor really should have been able to merge the two stories together and make them flow, and instead just picked Truce at Bakura made me a little bit sad.
Yeah.
Because then again, there is actually, I think Bantam did have a limit of books per year, so they might have had to cut somebody one way or the other. But just on pure story, you could very easily make the death of Deb Sabara part of why Luke is doubting himself in the beginning of Children of a part of the Jedi. It would fit perfectly.
Consider the following: they could have called up Kenneth Flint, I think is his name, right?
Yeah, Kenneth Flint.
Yeah, they could have called him up, but instead they decided to create Planet of Twilight.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Kenneth C. Flint did get to write a couple short stories. I think 2 or 3. Which isn't a lot, but he still got to write some.
I loved his short story for Effant Mon.
Effant Mon story.
I loved Planet of Twilight.
It was really good.
I didn't like Planet of Twilight, but I did like Children of the Jedi. I really liked Children of the Jedi.
I didn't like Children of the Jedi, but I
reread it last month.
I did not like Children of the Jedi, but when I was 13 and read them, the only time I've read them, I remember thinking Planet of Twilight was fun.
I reread that 2 weeks ago.
I liked Beldorian, though.
Beldorian's a really cool concept.
The black and white art of Beldorian is excellent, and I hate the color art of it. The official color art of him, where it's all kind of muddy.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a video game.
They got Leia's lightsaber color wrong, too.
Yeah,
they did.
And he's just he doesn't have longer arms than a usual Hutt. He's not thinner. He's just a normal Hutt. Instead of being this terrifying snake made of muscle, which, can you imagine being a Rakata when your force abilities stop working and you're on Varl, your weapons barely work because most of them relied on the force, and then suddenly the Hutts and the Talanda Till are rebelling. You are fighting rhinos
the Talanda Till are nightmare fuel.
You're fighting these muscle snake Naga things that are amphibious, and these rhinos who can use guns.
And the Hutts in those days were warriors. The art depicting them showed them with huge muscles, carrying big shields and like an axe. So that would be terrifying. And the Talanda Till are straight nightmare fuel.
What if the Rybit who claim to be from Varl as well are actually devolved Rakatans?
That's interesting. I don't see.
Kind of frog-like.
They are, but I don't see.
The Hutts might have enslaved a few just for shits and giggles because they're the Hutts and they like to enslave people.
That's actually a really cool concept.
It just came to me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm thinking about it more now. Rybit, Rakata. Their skin shade is completely different. I think they grew antenna.
Rabbit don't have antenna. They're just
no, they don't. I was thinking of
they would have to have their eyes stop sticking out the way that Rakatans do, but they are vaguely amphibian.
I like the idea that Gungans are a devolved form of Rakata.
What?
I mean, they do have their eyes on stalks.
I mean,
Oh my god, is this like the evolved version of the Darth Jar Jar theory,
Wow.
where he's not
Wow.
just a Sith, he's
Darth-
a Rakatan?
Darth Jar Jar has like a lineage of powerful Rakatan warlords in his past.
I like it.
I like we've expanded the Darth Jar Jar mythos. It's amazing.
Oh man, I really like Iron Inquisitor's comment here. Leia kicking Hutt butt was great in that book. It indeed was. Leia
The
being
only
a
good part
Hutt
of that
Slayer.
book.
Based.
Leia being a Hutt Slayer is something I do love, though.
Yeah,
2-time Hutt Slayer.
I really enjoyed the Callista send off at the end. I thought it was great how they never actually spoke in the book. And,
I agree. I agree with
that. Slov says Gungans are devolved Rakatans. Do you want to have words with him now, Marcel?
No.
Or didn't I say that myself?
Oh, did you say that yourself?
Yeah.
I know you like Gungans.
Yeah, I didn't say evolved Rakatans.
We used
That's
to
for
love
sure.
Gargans.
Yeah.
It's a fun time.
Yeah.
Gungans are... I have a mixed relationship with Gungans. My favorite one is George R. Binks.
Or
Or maybe
I love that he tries to
Absabar
shoot
Binks.
himself. I think that's incredible. It's canon. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah,
It
I was
is
gonna
canon.
say.
Yeah,
I
yes.
hope in your series.
When you
say
finally
it's
get to
canon.
George R. Binks in your series, you're gonna label it canon, right? Or
Yeah, I think I am. I don't care what
I already have.
I have
it's
to
in my
do.
video.
It's gonna be canon. No,
I think it's on the
Bruce
fence.
was like, it can't be because of the like pirate
yeah,
ship.
it's
but
love.
then
Truce was very good.
Then I read Darth Bane and frickin' that one, like, what is it called? Fawn, the frickin' half, like,
Yeah, the
deer
half
legs
Bothan
and
that for some reason
whatever.
looks like a
that guy. He has like a
satyr.
pirate ship. So it's
I do
okay.
believe that there is an obscure connection there.
Farfalla.
To
His name's
George R.
Farfalla,
Binks?
I think. Right? Farfalla.
Yeah. Farfalla.
I think there is a
Okay,
connection though to the
about the
comic.
Wait, about the pirate ships though. So
Yeah,
I mean, Naboo has like Venetian architecture and stuff. Like it's all very
true.
it's very old timey, right? So I mean, would it be like
The
most-
statue, the statues in the Gungan Grotto.
Yeah, I feel like you could make an argument that it's canon.
Nah.
How
I feel
long
like you
lived
could.
your Gungans? We don't know how long lived they are, do we?
I feel like you could. It's just, but you'd have to hand wave some. There are weird things in the EU.
I was gonna say, what is your favorite actually canon Star Wars Tales tale?
Extinction or
The
What's-
Kal Katarn one.
the
Neil
Kal
Butler.
Katarn
Equals
one.
an option.
Same. Kyle Katarn.
Kyle
The
Katarn
Kyle
one, yeah.
Katarn one, Extinction, or Tales of the Jedi Shadow and Light. Those are my three favorites.
Yeah, Shadow and Light's pretty good too.
I liked Shadow and Light, although I've always found the tech bridge between Tales of the Jedi
Redemption
and KOTOR to be
Yeah.
bad enough, and moving KOTOR's technology even closer to Tales of the Jedi feels off to me.
So I did find a way where you could explain it. In Tales of the Jedi, one of the Nomi Sunrider books, it specifically mentions that the Republic is going through an economic boom because they're discovering like all these minerals, and they're getting access to all this cash flow. So
Okay.
that could
They could
explain
have
why
invested it
there's,
into new technology.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
the
construction.
other
Or at least new,
the other
or at least
explanation is, oh, sorry.
at least new aesthetics on old technology, because technically it
Right.
just looks more advanced. It doesn't necessarily mean it is more advanced.
And then,
Yeah.
then you have
Right.
Skeletor, which
They
is
went
another
through
kind
a
of one.
renaissance
Oh
of
my God.
fashion, maybe.
Although
Well-
the Sith fighters just from KOTOR already existing in Shadows and Light didn't sit right with me. Those in specific felt like something the Starforge had to spit out, or very
thought-
late Mandalorian war invention of the
I
Republic.
thought
that
Shadows and
Rev
Light did a
stole.
really good job, like transitioning it personally, like
For the
how the
personal
how they're
armor,
hunting
yes.
the creature from there. A Keldroma's in it. It really characters from KOTOR
Oh, yeah.
being in it. I thought it was
Narratively,
pretty
it
good.
worked well. Yes.
Yeah,
My only issue is like the Sith Starfighter pre-existing.
I love that they attempt it.
Mandalorian
I mean,
War.
it's Star Wars Tales, and someone was like, let's try to explain the discrepancy between Tales of the Jedi and KOTOR, bridge it together. And then they threw it in a Tales comic.
Yeah,
That's
based
amazing.
on a couple of items left lying around on the ground in.
Yeah.
Or was it always intended? Was it co-written alongside KOTOR, and they
I
intended
think
to
it
have
came
the
out
story?
2 years after.
Okay, so they had these items on the Korriban, and they wanted to explain them. All right.
Absolutely. I love that this is the comic series that gave us Melvin Fett, and then it also gave us Tales, Shadow, and Light, trying to bridge eras
Yeah.
together.
I really do like. I do like a good bridging story. Like, I would say the Hand of Thrawn 45. At least the fan fictions where he doesn't have to bridge large amounts of time, in which case he goes a little bit crazy. Apparently, I haven't gotten there yet. He does a good job bridging things. I love. What do you call it? Hour of Judgment, the one that replaces the short stories.
The one with Jagged.
Forgot to write. Yeah. Well, no, not with Jagged. Hour of Judgment is.
Oh, Soontir.
Soontir.
Yeah, my bad. I think I heard that there's contradictions regarding the family in it.
The family's always been a bit of a mess.
Yeah, Meg Reviews has a great video about that.
Yeah, like, I think he had 2 sons before defecting, who I guess got hidden by his family, and they eventually picked up later. And then a daughter, and then Jagged afterwards.
Yeah,
because Jagged being named
different sources that talk about their deaths at different times.
Yep.
And there's also different sources that say different order for the children.
Which is weird because
and Hand of Thrawn's one dude.
Which is really, they could have just had what do you call it? They could have just had the one son. Did they specifically say in the Fett comic that he had 2 sons that were being protected by his family? Or did they say?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Because otherwise Zahn could have just used the brother that is specifically mentioned to be dead in Stackpole's New Jedi Order stuff. The one that Jagged says that Wedge would have loved.
Yeah.
And just had him be the one that shows up in Survivor's Quest instead of creating another brother. But if there were specifically 2 children already before he defected, then he had to give the other one a name, so why not put him in Survivor's Quest?
Anonymous Gamer, Melvin Fett. If you think it's the lamest name, look him up. His picture. Maybe I'll even show it on stream.
Yeah, this is important lore. You should probably toss it on stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Pico, you're 100% correct. Melvin Fett might be the single most important Star Wars character. I can't wait to get to this story. Imagine if it's actually got like canon EU references. Melvin Fett's actually a part of the mythos.
Brandon's gonna like twist every word to make it look like it's actually.
All right, this is Melvin Fett, his official image on Wikipedia. What do you guys think? It looks like he's got a Bible strapped to his chest.
God, is he by? Oh dear, that name. That name is familiar.
Who'd you get that picture of me?
Oh, it's okay. It's just the Diary of a Wimpy Kid guy, right?
Is it? I don't know. Let me check.
Like the artist, maybe.
Yeah. No. James.
It was written by James Kochalka.
Yeah.
Who? This is his only credit so far. It looks like.
Well, in Star Wars,
at least on Wikipedia.
American Elf.
Kochalka.
American Elf. He also made music.
They're gonna reboot the EU with that guy at the helm.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for James Kochalka to do a comic series bridging Crucible and Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a satire comic book.
Melvin Fett, cousin of the infamous Boba Fett, travels to the desert planet of Tatooine. This is in Star Wars Tales 20. Do we want to read this real quick?
It's 4 pages. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
4 pages of pure lore.
I have an ad blocker, so
do, some voice acting.
Yeah,
no, I'm not brave enough for politics. You guys read it.
I have an ad blocker now, so I can.
Here's Star Wars Tales.
So you can actually tolerate the
pirating website. Yeah.
No, this is legal.
Legal, yeah. This is
Yeah.
a horrible
Otherwise,
cover.
I've been
I
taken
hate
down
it.
by now.
Yes.
Oh, that is
I don't like that
Yoda
cover at
looks. Yoda looks stretched.
Disgusting.
Imagine
That's
if
an amazing
Maxwell.
cover. Y'all are crazy.
I don't mind the dragon snake, but Yoda himself looks all screwy.
Hey,
He does look screwy.
Tuck,
Hey,
would you wear
hey,
this on a shirt?
Yeah, oh
Yoda-
yeah, man. I
Yoda
already
did-
have that.
Yoda does not want to give away 350.
Yoda needs to lay off the
God
ketamine.
dang Loch Ness monster!
Imagine if Maxwell was
is
here.
Yoda fighting a tree?
No, it's a
that's-
dragon
oh, okay.
snake.
It's a goddamn
Sorry.
Loch Ness monster.
Then he really
wants
would
to
be
borrow
on
350.
ketamine if he was fighting a tree.
Yeah.
That creature came for child support, and Yoda ain't having it.
I don't even want to get into that. How much
Notice
shelf?
that this is drawn by Tony
I will not
Millionaire.
pay child support.
Tony Millionaire.
Tony Millionaire is a guy who wrote numerous tale stories and used a pseudonym. I'm assuming because he didn't want his real name associated with the comic. He wrote several stories for it.
Tony
with
Millionaire
the pseudonym.
sounds like
That's
an
a great
80s wrestler. It sounds like an 80s wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah, $1 Million Man. That was a cool
now
wrestler.
that's a cover right there.
Yeah, look at this thing. Beautiful cover art here with all of the photoshopping that I could do in 5 minutes.
You could.
I want to track this one down and grade it.
I would actually love to own this copy
64
right here.
amazing
with this
stories
cover.
in all quotes.
Very bright, overexposed Ewoks.
Let me see if I can
They're
check
kinda washed
the
out.
eBay for this variant price.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually check eBay right now.
An Ewok or a Jawa taken mid motion, so his eyes are like moving.
Yeah, they're kind of creepy. Let me check eBay real quick. Should I share my screen so you guys can see the prices for it?
So long as you don't dox yourself, yeah.
Yeah, make sure your extra tabs are closed.
Yeah, show a specific window, open it in a private window.
Don't be signed in.
Yeah, I don't want to be signed in. I just
hit
checked the
F11.
tab I was about to share, and my address was on it. That's fun.
Oh, yeah, very, very good that you did not do
You're
that.
welcome. I
Thank you,
guess.
Pico and Ghostfish. You keep me safe.
Mhm.
You'd have to
I'm
unlist
the
the
I'm
screen
I'm the
afterwards.
parent. It wouldn't be justified. It would be very bad if I didn't, given how paranoid I am about my own identity.
All right, can you guys see this?
That's a beautiful loading screen.
Oh, you see it now?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I can see it in the Streamlabs.
Okay, we want the alternate cover. Let's see if we
Yeah,
can
one of the
find it.
variants. Oh,
Oh,
there it
there it
is.
is. It's
$15.
Fif- Oh,
It's five.
Okay.
It's $5 to
$15.
$10 cheaper than a normal one.
Can you still see this tab? Oh wait, share this tab instead. Oh man, I'm learning technology. All right, can you
Yeah.
see this?
yes.
Yes.
$14.99. Man, I really want to get this, but I'm saving my money for the con.
The best
I'm going-
$14.99 you could ever
I'm going to
spend.
Fan Expo next week, so I'm going to keep an eye out for this variant.
Yeah.
Oh my
There's
gosh,
a,
this greatest
Are you
cover
going to Fan
art in the
Expo,
EU.
Pico?
Yeah.
I am not because I'm trying to save money for the other con. But who's there this year?
I have no idea. I'm only going Thursday for shopping.
Yeah, that's a smart
I actually,
play.
Yeah.
I was walking through the con and I saw a lady in a yellow jumpsuit that looked vaguely like an X-wing pilot jumpsuit and like furry arms, and I thought it was a Ketch cosplay. She had her hat off at first, but it was just a Rocket Raccoon cosplay. I thought it was Ketch.
That's
I
depressing.
just realized, guys, that George R. Binks and Melvin Fett are in this issue. Greatest
That makes it
Tales
look
issue,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, how much is that issue?
$14.99.
$14.99.
Buying it.
Steal. And make a YouTube video, TuckWes. Make it your introduction to YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, let's read the comic now. Should we read George R. Bink on the way?
Yes, please. I need my
Alex, it's been too long since you read it. Marcel, could you voice George R?
Please.
No.
Please.
You don't want that footage on YouTube?
I just don't even know what would he sound like. I don't even think he sounds like a traditional Gungan.
Do you
No,
see
he
this?
sounds like you. Just do your normal voice.
Marcel, do you see this?
There she blows.
There she blows. Ready the harpoons.
Ready to harpoons.
Oh, we forgot a little monologue up here. This is
Oh.
by Tony Millionaire, of course.
My
In
hero.
the stormy southernmost seas of Naboo, Captain George R. Binks of Binks and Sons Whaling Company closes in on his prey.
See,
All
I
right.
would do this with like some kind of patois, and then I would get canceled. Like
Hard she blows, ready the harpoons.
exactly something like along those lines, and I would just
Who can do an explosion?
That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, very
Fire!
nice.
Who's the whale?
I'll be the whale.
Take the wheel, boy. Hold
Yeah,
her steady.
You guys do it. There you go.
All right, who's gonna be Jar Jar himself?
Who's Jar Jar?
Nobody wants to be Jar Jar.
Wait, can anyone actually do a Jar Jar
I can't do a Jar
impersonation?
Jar.
I used to, but I haven't practiced.
He's supposed to be younger though, so you have to do like a younger inflection.
No. No. All right, that's good. That'll do.
This is this the greatest video content I've ever uploaded to my channel? I think
Maybe.
so.
A live reading of George R. Binks.
Yes. Okay, we're down to this page, I suppose then.
When I did Skippy the Jedi Droid, didn't someone in the comments say they wanted me to do George R. Binks next?
I think so.
Unofficial audio drama. Yeah,
Can you
maybe
do it
one
next
day.
April, please?
Yes, next
maybe.
April.
I
And
hate
then do
how
Melvin.
good the art is in this one. It's like,
And
why
then
couldn't you?
Pony Millionaire is not a bad artist.
This is actually pretty good. I like George R. here. He's so heroic. Look how his Gungan like ear
ears
flap
look
things
like
are
flapping.
waving like hair.
Yeah, it's great.
How can you say this story's not canon?
Yeah, right.
Come on.
I mean, it's amazing.
Blast! The whale has gotten herself tangled in the rigging. If we can just turn quick to starboard, we can shake her loose. Jar Jar, look alive, boy. Turn the wheel to starboard. Turn it now or you'll sink us.
Who can do this sound effect?
Bloop.
That's perfect. One month later. Dude. A month stuck with Jar Jar would be awful.
Look at Jar Jar with this lobster.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Honestly, this seems canon.
Someone has to, yeah. Other than the fact that they could just, you idiot. No.
Who wants to voice the woman? Oh, great. Does the role of a woman in a Star Wars voice acting fall to me once again?
Now, George R., you leave that boy. I'm just gonna do this. I don't know what this is. That
This is
boy
amazing.
alone. You're just taking out your frustrations on him. You never should have left him at that wheel all by himself. He's only a child.
She sounds
A
like
child? When I was
I-
his age, I was commanding my own fishing gang in Otagunga. He's no child. He's just an imbecile.
There we go. That's a
Connection.
reference. That's enough.
Yeah,
It's enough for it to be canon.
absolutely certified.
You know
Wait,
how
lobsters. Do you think lobsters are another EU sources?
It actually does look a bit like a yob shrimp.
I do not know what a yob shrimp is.
It's from those great,
Fake fan.
those really great comics. They're usually purple though, but it's from those great Star Wars ecology books.
Okay,
The ones
gotcha.
that covered,
I
you know,
looked up-
Coruscant, Naboo, and stuff.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I looked up lobster Star Wars. It only came up with Disney canon has lobsters in the Legend of Luke Skywalker book. Is Jar Jar Binks Disney canon?
Maybe it is.
They don't deserve it. Don't give it to them.
They don't
Yeah,
deserve it.
don't give
no,
it to
they
them.
don't.
Exactly. They don't deserve it.
It's too good.
This book is a parody of Moby
Although-
Dick. Yep.
Although
Oh,
in
Slav's
real
gonna
life,
start coming to the chat.
although
He
in
loves Moby Dick.
in I guess Disney canon, yob shrimp are just normal shrimp because they have yob shrimp food at the Disney park, and it's just a normal shrimp.
Gotcha. Okay.
But in Legends, they looked really cool. They were like these weird lobstery things. They're actually really sweet. You should look them up. But yeah. All right, let me get back to the reading. I had this zoomed in. There we are. You know how hard I've tried, my dear, to teach him the ways of the whaler, to bring him over to the family business. We Binkses have a tradition that goes back hundreds of years, sailing across the seas on voyages that sometimes take us around the world.
Oh, this is gonna be hard. Okay. Father, isn't this island tickety boo? Tailbone from the sea serpent. What the? I was not expecting that at the end there.
I want to give my try at this since this is such a tongue twister. All right, I was gonna go. All right, father, isn't this island tickety boo? Looky, these a bony, these a find on the beach, these a tiki, sir, tailbone from a sea serpent, sir.
This is amazing. All right, who's Jar Jar? Pico.
La la la.
Why, you little... Nitwit, these are not the bones of sea serpents, they are the bones of all me ruined hopes strewn about this barren rock. I named this island Binks's Woe.
Wait, we need a slap sound effect. Tuck, can you give us a slap? Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
You
it's
said no.
Jar Jar.
That's not even how it's supposed to be. The punctuation's wrong. You said no, my father. Me's a very good swimmer. Me could swim for.
Ye ignorant fool, we are halfway around the globe in treacherous waters. It would take you 50 years to swim for help, and if you couldn't swim for half a day without being eaten by a...
Oh, there's always a bigger fish. Reference.
Good idea, boy. You can save us after all. Let's get ye started.
George R. Binks, don't you dare.
Why, oh, why not?
Tuck, we need some toots.
Doot, doot, doot.
These sound effects are on point.
The next panel. The next panel.
I mean, it's not a gun. It's clearly a laser.
This is literally Noah. Anytime the Denning verse gets brought up.
Maybe someday, but not today. Alex.
Oh, sorry. No, George, don't do it. We can get off this island somehow. We have so much to live for. Think of your son.
Tuck, we need a...
So he was going to go through with it.
Yeah. Marcel, have you already read this?
What? Of
The
course
son
I have.
comment only.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I read all of Tales, yeah.
Mm.
This past year, actually. I reread it.
George! Oh, George, this is all my fault.
So you, Alex?
I know you did not want to marry me. You want to marry that warrior girl you loved. But you left her because you knew she would not bear you a son.
Shibla.
Okay, now here's the thing. I believe Shibla is mentioned in an external source. I could be wrong, but I believe Shibla is mentioned elsewhere. So that could be how it connects.
That's all we need.
That's all we need.
Okay, it doesn't say on the wiki, but
I think she's mentioned somewhere else.
There's nothing. Well, the wiki isn't comprehensive.
I'll have
it has,
to
in fact,
check.
been deleting things, but
I'll have to check the complete encyclopedia, because if it's in those volumes, that's all we would need.
the encyclopedia always feels like it was made by somebody who wasn't cognizant of the fact that tales were sometimes non-canon.
Well, Leland Chi said that anything that was mentioned in the complete encyclopedia had higher level of canonicity.
Higher, but perhaps not entire. But yeah, all right.
Moving on in this thrilling adventure.
I know you never loved me, but you married me anyway. You always said that having an heir was more important than love.
Tuck, we need snoring. And some blinks.
You.
It's incredible.
Incredible
What a great
story.
I'm scared of that title. Who's your daddy?
This story is definitely canon.
Yeah.
Luke, I'm your
I mean, it
father.
references
I'm your
that scene in
I'm your
episode
father.
5.
I'm your father.
Exactly. And
I'm your
also,
father.
it's canon because we know that Vader had a circa 1990s house on the Death Star.
That's such a 1990s house.
Yes.
It looks like something out of The Simpsons, I guess. Vaguely,
In
loosely.
the executor,
Not really.
not the
Oh
Death
yeah, I've never been from the 90s, so I didn't mean to falsely attribute this house to that time period. Maybe
your father.
1890s.
Yeah.
I like
All
this
right.
kind of
I think
reference.
we probably shouldn't go further than George R.
What
Banks without.
is
Yeah,
that?
we'll scroll down to Melvin. And
Okay,
then
I can voice Melvin Fett.
I'd love it.
Okay.
I think Boba
I've read
Fett's
this story.
in one of them too, right?
On this one.
Let's see here.
The Thunderdome of
I'm
Swoops.
sorry.
This is like a almost all non-canon volume.
I'm
Yeah,
sure you're
sometimes
excited
you
for
get
this
some
one.
that are almost entirely canon, and some you get that are just.
Yeah, the only one that's canon is George R. Binks in this one. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, you're right, Pico. I agree.
I mean, I think it's like, in all seriousness, I think it could be maybe that story itself is non-canon, but like, is Jar Jar's father named George R? I mean, I feel like
Probably
there's,
not.
yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely. And his son is also named Absabar. Jar Jar's
Wait,
son.
hold on. Where are they supposed to be in this? Is that supposed to be Coruscant?
Yeah.
Okay.
The New Republic months after the Battle of Endor.
Wait. Don't they not take Coruscant until 1 year after, or is it 8 months that they take it?
It's like
It's 8
2
months,
years
right?
after.
Oh, it's 2 years?
2.5
really?
years after.
Wedge's
Yeah.
Gamble
2.5.
is that
It's a
long?
while.
Wedge's Gamble is 6.5 ABY.
What is a Rancor doing on Coruscant?
It's chilling there. Oh, here we
Okay,
go.
who's gonna narrate?
I'll do it.
Me, not this time. I'll just do Melvin Fett.
Yeah, because he's doing
Okay.
Melvin, so I'll be Marcel this
No.
time. But I want to be
Alex is
Marcel's
playing
voice.
Marcel,
so-
playing
Yeah,
narrator.
be
Oh,
yourself.
readers.
Yeah, I'm gonna be myself. Our roles are reversed. Is all I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, I can do a fancy narration, I think. Ho, readers, what have we here? Another thrilling adventure of the galaxy's greatest bounty hunter, the mysterious Boba Fett? No, nothing as exciting as that, I'm afraid. For this story does not concern the fearsome Boba, but rather his bungling cousin, Melvin Fett.
All right. Oh, I thought Tatooine was supposed to be a dessert planet. Where are all the cupcakes? Where's the ice cream? There's no dessert at all. Just sand. And heat. Man, I'm really sweating in here.
Tuck.
Blink, blink.
It's stinging my eyes. It's a little disorienting. I'm afraid this might put me at a tactical disadvantage on my mission.
Oh my god.
To capture Jar Jar Binks. Dead or alive. Or both. Or neither.
I love this voice.
Hopefully not neither.
Cold drinks.
I've never actually successfully collected a bounty before. The other bounty hunters tease me quite a bit. Sometimes I cry.
My apologies, dear reader. Melvin Fett's adventure is even more pathetic than I anticipated. I suppose that he is doomed to wander the desert in circles forever, simple-mindedly muttering nonsense to himself. But wait, what's this? A Jawa happens by, sipping a cold soda from a Senator Jar Jar Binks commemorative drinking cup with flexible straw and talking action. Who's the Jar Jar?
Mr. Thirsty.
Slurp.
That voice! It's him, Jar Jar Binks. How lucky. I'll blast him with my blaster. Whoops!
Trips. Whomp.
How would? Mr. Thirsty. There's only 2 lines.
Gotcha!
How
would?
I did it. I captured Jar Jar Binks. Wait till the other bounty hunters find out. They won't laugh at me anymore. Actually, I'm thirsty too, Jar Jar.
That
The
is
end.
incredible.
Oh man.
Here's how that's
Young
canon.
Lando. Okay, young Lando could work, but do they forget that he doesn't have a mustache until like the second book of his trilogy?
Boba Fett is just having an acid trip.
Scroll down. I want to.
Oh, sorry, I left it.
I wanted to see if they remember that he doesn't have a mustache until.
No, he does have a mustache in that story.
Not canon then. Sorry, can't be. He doesn't grow the mustache until.
However, the Meeks are referenced in another in source book material. I believe the complete encyclopedia.
Doesn't necessarily.
The Meeks being the orange-skinned race that he encounters on the planet.
It's hard to say. What was I gonna say?
But that was an enlightening reading for sure.
Yeah. So, anyone ever think it's a little bit weird that, what's the quote is, if I had a nickel for every time a Super Star Destroyer suicide rammed a torpedo sphere, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's still weird that it happened twice. Like, it happens once in the Battle of Trallas.
Mm-hmm.
And then it happens again with a Vengeance class Super Star Destroyer, which is at least half as bad, half as well armed as an Executor. But the Vengeance rams another torpedo sphere, and like torpedo spheres shouldn't be that scary on their own. In fact, what do you call it? I know it's not canon, but Hand of Thrawn 45 specifically went through the trouble of inventing a reason for the torpedo sphere to do so much damage in Hour of Judgment, which is, somebody on the Super Star Destroyer was feeding the weak points in the shields to the torpedo guidance for them.
And 1 sec, I quickly click on Anonymous Gamer's comment there. Very important.
Yes.
All right, Anonymous Gamer, I'm glad that you've changed your mind. We have convinced
you've seen the
you.
light. You've seen the error of your ways.
So when people are out here debating Mandalore the Ultimate or the Doom of Almara, Mandalore the Indomitable, maybe Boba or Jango get thrown in there. Maybe
Canderous.
Yeah.
Canderous.
Yeah. Canderous, of course.
Shiza, if you're a Marvel
Ben
fan.
Shiza, yeah. Melvin Fett trumps all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, no one would hate on Karen Travis if she just would have included Melvin Fett in the timeline.
Exactly.
Imagine if Karen Travis mentioned Melvin Fett in one of her books.
Melvin Fett, a practical man.
Melvin Fett, a practical man.
An impractical man.
Imagine if the bounty hunter's guide.
Melvin Fett, an impractical man.
What if in the bounty hunter's guide, much like Ahsoka and the Jedi Path, Melvin's just scribbling on the side of the page? You're like, I don't understand this. None of this makes much sense.
Imagine if in the Jedi Path, just randomly in the corner, it's like Melvin was here. What is this book?
It's. I mean,
I didn't learn how to read.
It's not unfathomable for Boba to have quite a few cousins. We've only seen one, or half brothers, I guess.
Right.
That's a good point.
He'd have a lot of. He would not necessarily have cousins, but he'd have a lot of half brothers.
He's a clone who was a child who got hit.
Commando cousin.
What if Melvin's like one of the clone children who was being trained on Kamino, and in the Battle of Kamino, he got shot by a blaster droid, blaster bolt, and in the head, and it kind of fried some nerves.
What if George R. Binks was the one that put out the
that would make
him
a brother and not. Yeah, if he was related to the clones, he'd be either a brother or a nephew.
Jango
he could be Jango's sister, related to Jango's sister. Yeah.
True.
So
and that could be.
We don't actually know what happens to his sister either.
Maybe he
doesn't die.
Travis never finished it. Yeah.
I assume she probably ended up enslaved. So maybe he grew up in captivity.
She was briefly with. She was with the Skaratas for a while.
We don't know. This is important.
But I mean, she might have had a child while a prisoner, and the child was taken away from her. That would explain why she's so messed up.
Yeah, she's really crazy.
That would explain why Melvin's so messed up.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, I think we've discovered the canonicity of Melvin Fett.
Karen Travis secretly Karen
setting
Travis
up
secretly
Melvin Fett.
inferred that he exists. Exactly.
Yeah, she was. It's the most genius stealth plan ever made.
I wish she was at Legends Con because I would ask her about Melvin Fett.
Oh my gosh!
was
Can
your
you imagine
plan for Melvin Fett before
Alex?
you
That would
left?
be the greatest short ever. If she was there and you walk up to her and say, "Mrs. Travis, I like how you mentioned Melvin Fett."
Melvin Fett's mother.
Melvin Fett's mother in your series.
Yeah.
And she just looks at you.
What?
She's like,
"What are you talking about?"
She looks at him and she's like, "You're the first person to finally realize what I was trying to do."
Why I created Arla or whatever her name was. I think it was Arla, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Or imagine
so
she's just
happy
like,
with that.
I don't. Imagine she's just like, I don't know what you're talking about, but no, I'm not writing Imperial Commando 2.
Thank goodness.
But can you write Melvin Fett, a practical man?
Yeah,
That's
definitely
what I really
impractical
wanna know.
man.
Impractical.
Impractical, yes. There you go. Play on it. And she co-authors it with Kevin Janderson. It's one of the funniest books you've ever read.
No. She co-authors it with Joe Schreiber, and Melvin fights against the Blackwing virus.
Look,
Oh my
if,
God,
if Hand of Thrawn 45 writes Melvin Fett an Impractical Man short story, I will read all of his work.
Yeah,
Okay?
and Melvin.
There you go.
and of
I'm going to
course-
ask him.
And of course, Hand of Thrawn also sneaks in Melvin Fett resurrects Anakin Solo from the dead, and Padme Amidala while
Brennan,
they're at
Brennan,
it,
Brennan,
and they all
Brennan,
have a happy
Brennan,
little
Brennan.
meal together.
Yes.
Brennan. I get
Sorry,
it.
Alex.
I get it. You hate it, even though you haven't read it yet. Okay? I haven't even read it yet. But
Fair.
Okay, he has some decent stuff there, especially if it's stuff that is not like world-altering things that are like minor
Where he's
scale. Like
filling
that
in
Alex
small
story.
Can
Good.
I ask you a question, Alex? How do you feel about Nominor rigging the New Republic election?
I thought it was great. I'm
think
obviously
that's
it's not
outstanding.
canon, but I think it's entirely in line with his character to do so, and that was one of the greatest. So for those who didn't watch my review of the Shadow War short story, we have Tavera back.
Spoilers for
because
Shadow War, but
she
it's a little
didn't
late for that.
die. She didn't die at the end of
Jedi, yeah. She ran
she's
away.
still around, so she's still like a loose thread. So she's like trying to do stuff for her own reasons. She's trying to mess with the New Republic, and it's it's all about like the political intrigue of how does Boris become the president, or the chief of state? Like how did that happen? Because nobody likes him, And so there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of different things. Actually, a good portion of the book focuses on the Syrians and conflicts within there, which I thought was really interesting because we don't really get to see that much of the Syrians after the prequels.
The Syrians, as in like the people who live in the Middle East?
Yeah, it was the.
No, wait.
Or do you mean the Syrians?
It was the epic
Forever
with history.
Frick you. I don't know how to say
Syrians,
things.
oh my god.
Well, the Coneheads.
Yeah,
I know. I was giving him a hard time.
Yes.
No, I
the
heard
Coneheads.
Syrians too, and I was very
No, that
confused.
is what I said, but I'm retarded. Anyway, the Coneheads, Kiara-Mundi's race, they're a big portion of that story. Anyway, at the end of the story, right, Tavera's like, yes, we did it. We messed with the New Republic because she's been working with this arms dealer and she's been trying to figure out what's his aim. She doesn't get it. And then
Sell
he does the
more
whole
guns.
Uvguth mask thing, and it's Nominor. And he says, look, keep helping me out and good things can come your way. And I was just like, bro, it doesn't
Does he?
is
I thought you
necessary
said
for
he
him to
killed her
do
with
that.
the eye thing. I thought you said he killed her with the eye thing.
No, he didn't kill her. She's still alive.
Oh, you saw the freaky
Oh,
eye.
sick.
His eye
Yeah.
looked freaky.
Oh,
The way-
yeah.
the way
Okay,
you
cool.
said his eye looked freaky. I thought you said that. I thought you meant that he
No,
used
he didn't
poison.
kill her. She's still.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing.
yeah. Your review
But
gave
yeah,
a
so
slightly wrong
it was
impression
revealed that
there.
it was him that basically he was sowing dissent through all the New Republic and
Leonia Tavira, founder of the Peace Brigade.
I like
Yeah.
the
That'd be
idea
an
that
interesting angle
Nominor
for her.
Yeah,
rigged
that is
the
a cool
election.
angle.
I like the idea because it mirrors how Plagueis rigged
Palpatine, yeah.
Amidala.
But the
as
thing
well.
too is it's not just like it was all Nominor either. Like Borsk was doing his own thing, trying to get into the election anyway. There was other political leaders that were messing up. There's a great scene where there's this one guy who's trying to like blackmail Borsk Fela, but he was also doing shady stuff. And so Borsk is like, yeah, but you have literally just betrayed the Republic. You are a traitor to the Republic, which is something that I would never do. So I have things on you. you can go ahead and do this, or you can shut your mouth, vote for me, and I'll give you like a high position when I become the chief of state. But that requires you to keep your mouth shut or lose everything because I have dirt on you. So like, even though Nominor was pulling the strings, it was still like a thing between all the political leaders.
I will say in what do you call it? In Hour of Judgment, there were 2 deaths I was not expecting, because I could have sworn they showed up in that final, that final little story that has the fall of Nouveau Esva. I could have sworn they were in that story, but they weren't, and Hand of Thrawn 45 recognized that they weren't and had them die.
Yeah, I think you should get the small scale stories.
But yeah.
So I can't.
I wouldn't necessarily call like Hour of Judgment. I wouldn't call small scale. Hour of Judgment deals with the best is
it's not like galaxy changing.
It's where you know what's going to happen next. I'd say it's not necessarily the scale that's the problem. It's the gap. It's how much time he has to cover and how crazy he can go in that time. If you know what's going to happen the next year, which is the Rogue Squadron novels, there's only so far you can stretch. And like there were also a bunch of battles. I want to see him do the taking of Coruscant, or no, the taking of Kuat, because I hate Jason Fry's summary for the taking of Kuat in the Essential Guide to Warfare. It's boring. It's overly quick. The casualties are way too low, and they break the rules for hacking a Super Star Destroyer that were established in Solo Command.
When was Kuat taken?
It was sometime between the fall of Warlord Zinj and Thrawn's return. And Jason Fry just kind of summarized it as, oh yeah, they bought out the stock of KDY, which generally everyone just ignored who was the stockholder because the government could just order them around anyway.
I also got to say that the sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to mention real quick. Also, 2 of the stories that I read earlier that I have not reviewed, I'll be Back to the Future by Hand of Thrawn, the finale to Republic Commando and the finale to Coruscant Knights, that are both kind of sort of connected because they both bounce off of one another.
Yeah.
But those 2 stories were great to me. I thought his Republic Commando finale was better than the second half of all of Republic Commando, the official story.
Do you count them as canon to you personally?
Well, I mean, obviously, Hand of Thrawn 45, none of it is canon. It is a completely separate universe. It's like
do you incorporate it into your personal headcanon is more the question.
Yeah.
It doesn't contradict anything as far as I'm aware, so I don't mind it being canon. But I'm never going to see the way my brain works is I'll never say it's actually canon. Well, I'll never say it's actually canon. Because
it would demean the would almost demean the expanded universe being canon, being special, being set apart, because some people say the EU is fan fiction.
Yeah, I can understand
even in my brain, I can't say it's actually canon. I do like a lot of the ideas in there, but it is a separate universe for me. It's like, this is an interesting thing that could have happened to finish off the story, but it's not what happened.
If I were going to, like, GM a Star Wars game, I'd probably include large swaths of what he added, but not necessarily all of it. Like, I might change up who dies at the end, because a lot of people freaking die in that.
Yeah, if you hate Republic Commando, it's going to be very cathartic.
A lot of people die in his Republic Commando finale because he's like, this is a dark time story. It should be dark.
I
like that. I like that.
They obviously all died. For example, you think Das Jenner lived? You think Jax Pavin lived?
Yeah, no,
they
died.
I don't think Jax Pavin dies at the end of the fanfiction. I think he lives.
That's interesting. I feel
really,
I really like how Last Jedi ends with like this idea that Jax is gonna start his own little Jedi Order, and then what the story I would want to see is Vader killing all of them. So Jax has this academy. He's basically brought all the Jedi he can find remaining together. So maybe even Quinlan Voss is there. Maybe Das Jenner's there. Volvith Mon, Coleman Kaj. Then we know that he was recruiting that Force-sensitive spacer lady with one eye at the end of Last Jedi. And we know he was going to recruit the Dathomirian Night Sister to his Jedi Order. And so he was gathering Force adepts, gathering Jedi who were still out there, and maybe he made a mistake. Maybe he was making Vader's job too easy, and Vader comes in and takes them all out. That's what I was thinking would happen.
Maybe it's not Vader. Maybe it's
some Inquisitors.
Maybe you could have Tremaine and Jarek having to work together. That could be a
Tremaine and Jarek working together. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
One thing I think that is in those stories, the thing Jarek does show up in both of those, or at least one of them, because
Hand of Thrawn 45 fucking loves Jarek. He uses
does Vulvith Mon show up?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but Hand of Thrawn 45 uses Jarek's apprentice from when he was a Jedi as the Inquisitor who leads the attack when the Hand of Palpatine doesn't show up to Belsavis. He has her lead it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
And he also show us a bit of...
I gotta spoil something because this is where one of the contradictions comes in that she dies there. And technically there is a one-sentence blurb that she was one of the people with, I think it was Tremaine, when they found the stasis pod that had the cybernetic arm lady from Hands of Terraskasi, the video game, the one who helped kidnap Palpatine for TIE Fighter and stuff. And there was a one-sentence blurb that said they found her shortly before the battle or shortly after the Battle of Yavin, and she was still alive there. So that's like the tiniest of contradictions, because she does die in the Republic Commando finale that he wrote.
But I was gonna say,
what happens to Taluzbeth and Wandong Esterhazy?
Don't spoil things for me.
You mean, is that Scout?
Now I know she survives Yoda Dark Rendezvous.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Well, she's in Republic Commando, and those take.
Well,
Marcel,
he hasn't read Order 66
I'm sorry,
yet.
Marcel.
Sorry.
I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. It's been out for like years. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
Well, do you have the Essential Reader's Companion?
Of course.
There's a art piece of her as an adult. In it.
Oh well. I literally just figured out who she was like 2 days ago. So.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Well, apologies, Marcel.
Okay. It's okay.
Very sorry about that.
But what I know for sure from the fan fiction is that the son of Darman lives, because the kind of backdrop to the story is that the Jedi that defects to the Mandalorians, Bardosk
is telling him the story of what happened.
Telling him the story of what happened. Yes. So is the framing device.
It's a very interesting thing, because anything that Bard and Jussic saw is in first person, and everything else is third person. So it does get a little jarring at times. Yeah.
But also, Brandon, you love the Legacy comics like most of us do, and there's a pretty great villain in that series. Yeah. You got a great villain in that series, and he, because that stuff happens before he goes to Tatooine, so we get more stuff with him.
I don't. So
we get to see him work.
I have
with
a problem with that.
What?
I don't like the idea of seeing more. I think if there had been more, Asherad Het would have told that to Cade when he was recounting.
I don't know. I don't, because that stuff that happens.
But Brennan,
I don't see why he would have left it out.
Brennan, I skimmed.
Given what happens, I think he probably would have mentioned it, because they give him that relationship and that.
Yeah,
really is not
Exion and everything, obscure stuff.
Yeah, he has a whole. He invents a whole new planet that's one of the first places to be bombarded by the Empire from orbit. And honestly, it's pretty well written, and that planet shows up a few times more in the various other fan fictions. It's key to the history of Octavian Grant, the Grand Admiral who defected to Kane and then to the New Republic.
Brennan, that Asherad Het story leads like brilliantly into the fight with Obi-Wan.
Okay, I imagine
skimmed through it.
I imagine. I don't doubt that Hand of Thrawn can write well. Well, sorry. I read the first chapter of Sword of the Jedi and wasn't exactly
That was
impressed.
also the first thing he wrote, so it's hard to judge him based off
Yeah,
of that.
exactly. That's his oldest thing. He's improved as a writer myself, or aspiring to be. My stuff from 5 years ago is horrible compared to stuff 2 years ago. Like, it makes sense that there would be improvement. I didn't find the prose to be particularly engaging, but based on how big a fan base there is, I do not now doubt that he is a good writer, but
Thank you.
probably just not my favorite.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's fine. He's not mine by any means.
I really like. I'd honestly place. I'd say Hand of Judgment is at least Stackpole level. At least Izard's Revenge Stackpole level. Maybe not Back to War.
That's crazy. Wow.
Level, but at least Izard's Revenge. I'd say better than Izard's Revenge.
I don't know if I would say that, but I would certainly say from what I've read, which is not the Sword of the Jedi trilogy yet, but from what I've read, like if I didn't know it was a fan fiction, I would think it's just a legitimate like story. Like it doesn't read like what you expect fan fiction to read like. It doesn't. It reads like an actual novel. And a better novel, one of the better EU novels you'd find.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: if this guy is such a great writer, then why isn't he? Maybe he is writing like other stuff, right? Like
he might be.
Fan fiction's not going to get published.
Well,
yeah,
maybe
he is.
Off,
maybe both of his things are pseudonyms. Like
I don't know, but the other thing too is that this is a fan who wants to write stories about the expanded universe, which is no longer being continued. And he can't legally do that. So the only way he can tell stories if he's really passionate about it is to just make fan fictions. So I don't think that's really a diss on him if he's not writing stories.
I don't think the Gregory O.
I didn't mean it as a diss on him. But what I'm saying is that like if he's such a great writer, he should be not wasting his time writing fan fiction. He should use it to
practice. Sometimes
maybe he has a job. Yeah, maybe he has a job. I don't know.
Maybe he might have a good paying job.
The sense I got from reading the first chapter of Sword of the Jedi is not that he is a pre-established writer. I don't think he had writing experience or school writing experience, like collegiate writing experience. I think he was an avid reader, an avid fan, who felt justably a righteous anger that many of us have felt at the discontinuation of stories in a universe he loved. I think he's a fan who had a lot of time on his hands and wanted to do something noble for everyone, which I really do applaud. Like, it's a great idea. I myself have thought about just writing so much stuff to fill in all the gaps. And he had that idea as well and has done an incredible job from what I've heard. Sounds like there's some amazing connections in there. He's a huge fan, but I don't think he is a trained writer. I don't think he's a writer by his career.
I guess the only thing I'll say is that the moment you start writing for other people is the moment you fail at writing.
For a publisher.
I'm saying more like Stephen King will be the first to tell you he writes for publishers, but like write for yourself. Don't write for other people.
Well, I mean, again, we're all speculating. He could be just doing this because he wants in his own head. This is why I asked you, Brendan, to help me. I mean, you're mostly writing it. I'm not a writer. I just have ideas. But
Except I'm not mostly writing it because I've been slacking off. Sorry.
It's okay. But the point is, we are writing a story that will never be canon to the EU, but we are writing it for our own peace of mind.
Exactly, because you guys are passionate about it.
So
yeah,
why can that be the same thing for him? What evidence do you have against that? So
nothing. I don't even know this person from Adam. All I know is that it's fan fiction at the end of the day. Like
that's what we're all saying.
And what else do we know? The EU wasn't fan fiction; it was canon.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's why when you asked me originally before we got on this whole discussion about Hand of Thrawn 45, do I count his works as canon or even a head canon? No, because I don't like head canon. I'm never going to even accept in my head that any of those stories actually happened. That being said, like when I read the Shadow War,
I guess I can't invite you to the RPG that I might eventually run if I ever.
Well, an RPG is a different thing. That's just like a role playing.
Yeah,
that's fine. But I'm just saying, like when I read, I made the joke when I did the review for Noah's fan fiction, so like these are official. These are my continuation of the Jedi Prince stories. They're not actually. I mean, I do think better than all of actual Jedi Prince, but they're not a part of the canon of the EU. It's just something I like. but it's not
I need
ever
to
going to be in my
see
mind part of it.
how well his fan fiction and Hand of Thrones fan fiction line up, because they do both cover the same Grand Admiral. Now that I think about it,
Yes, I don't think it contradicts even Hand
they
of Thrones
wouldn't really,
because it's earlier or
yeah,
later.
it literally
Sorry.
ends. Hand of Thrones starts after Hour of Judgment starts after he's already finished his fight with the prophets, so it would not contradict anything really.
Yeah, but so unless he dies, which I don't remember if he does, I forget.
Yeah.
But you have to remember though that Noah, when he wrote it, specifically wrote it to be like the authors who actually wrote the series. So he's trying to write it kiddie. So he's not writing to his full capacity.
Of course.
So he's purposely doing it in that style.
Yeah,
including
but he was
weird
too good.
things that would make Captain Planet look positively pro-industry.
Whalodons?
I'm more concerned with insulting the Chadra fan for having too many cows. It's like a Kubaz trying to sell you on their cuisine instead of dairy farming. That's a bit of maybe a slightly politically charged joke there, but sorry.
No, I got it. That's good.
It was one of those like George Carlin jokes. Hello. By the way.
Hello. He switched himself with you.
Yeah, it was.
I say George Carlin because George Carlin's very like, that's funny. Not really a laugh out loud type of guy like other comedians.
I'm not a big Carlin guy.
I'm not
He's
either,
okay, I guess.
Especially because of half of his content being religious oriented. It's not that I get offended. It's just legitimately not funny. It's just okay. He gets to a point where he ironically starts preaching, and he's not actually making a joke anymore.
I think George Carlin might be in like the contention for best comedian of all time.
Everybody's got their own take on what's funny, so
yeah. I mean, I've never. Some of the things have been funny that I've heard from him, but none of them have been like. It's always been like.
But that's the thing. Is like comedy isn't. It's supposed to.
It's subjective. I get it.
I was gonna say if it's done right, it's supposed to expand your mind, not make you laugh out loud.
I guess. You can do both.
I mean, think about Dave Chappelle, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Like,
fair enough.
Dave Chappelle's making laugh out loud.
Well, but his comedy is not necessarily geared towards making people laughing out loud. It's geared towards making people, think.
No, there's nothing wrong with making people think. But when 90% of like your special is just basically talking and preaching about whatever you believe in and not really joking around, it's I didn't come for a TED Talk.
Dude, do you know the origins of comedy? The origins of comedy.
Okay.
I'm passionate about this because it's ancient Greek stuff. The origins of comedy is because they could not insult the state directly, so they had to do it through comedic means, through satire.
Okay, but he does it left and right.
Comedy has always been politically charged from the very start. That's the point of it.
That's not my issue. That's not my issue. It's not that he gets talking about serious subjects. It's that there is no joke in it. It's just talking about it. So some of the specials are. It's just, I'm going to talk about this and why I believe this, and you're going to listen for an hour and a half. It's not, nowhere in there is there comedy. It's just, here's what I have to tell you. You may find it funny if you agree with him, but...
Isn't that what Dave Chappelle does as well?
Not all the time. But we can get off...
Let's get into something...
Bill Burr is the best comedian of all time.
He's my favorite comedian of all time.
Robin Williams.
Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald is great.
I like Norm. I've only seen a few bits. I've only seen one comedian live, and that didn't end so well.
I'll give an example of somebody else
Since it was
who is like
Cosby,
George Carlin, who does like topical things like that. He's a more recent guy. Bill Burr. Burr's hilarious. But
I just said he's my.
But he makes jokes.
My favorite comedian of all time is Bill Burr.
He makes actual jokes. He doesn't just talk to you for now. He does talk about serious stuff, but he's also joking the whole time.
Okay, if you think that George Carlin doesn't make actual jokes, then you don't know anything about George Carlin.
I didn't say he never did. I said he is a lot of his.
Why is Goldfish soft handing me right now? I'm saying Goldfish. Oh my, yeah. Okay.
Goldfish.
Ghostfish. Why are you soft handing me right now with your okay?
Because I want to get back to Star Wars.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's fair.
What
Marcella,
else?
how was your Dark Foundation?
I'm annoyed that I lost track of the my abridged Thrawn my abridged what do you call it? Heir to the Empire. Because I like to imagine that it actually exists in the Star Wars universe. Because it's literally narrated by Dennis Lawson. I like to imagine that like he was trying to make a historical documentary on the Thrawn crisis, and he horribly does not like how it turned into just kind of telling a story, and he was filling in gaps that he shouldn't have been, and he like hid it away, and Hobby and Jansen are constantly trying to find this recording. It's a stupid headcanon just based on the fact that it's narrated by the guy who played Wedge. But it's
it's good, it works.
It seems like something they'd do if he had something that he didn't think was optimal work.
That's canon to me now.
Same.
You. And yeah, and the other two are by Anthony Daniels, so that's literally just C-3PO.
It's like how that one issue of the Marvel series
is now literally just a joke that Wedge plays on New Pilots. Or semi-based in truth, like some of it happened, but Hobby didn't die at the end.
Hobby didn't die, and Wedge isn't Luke's childhood friend.
Yeah, he was cribbing Biggs's backstory, let me see. I think what else is it that are like weird quirks of... Oh yeah, I've already told you my complaints about the Wraith Squadron abridged. In that they cut Ketch from the first book entirely, so he just comes out of nowhere in the second.
They cut.
And also it ruins the setup for Piggy to not have the Ketch intro before Piggy.
Oh.
That's disgusting.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Well, they got a cut for time, but I don't know what editor would have thought that. I don't know what editor wouldn't have thought that the Ketch story is important to set up Piggy. The best of the... What do you call it?
Abridged?
No, it wasn't an abridgment. Oh yeah, I was gonna say I have an uncle who happens to look a bunch like Warlord Zinj, and I got him to read the Wraith Squadron books, which was fun. He had actually apparently read them before, because as he was reading the Rogue Squadron stuff, he said he remembered someone flying into a Star Destroyer and he didn't like the internal fight. I'm just like, maybe when you read it again tomorrow, you'll like it more. And he said, yeah, I liked it more the second time. Because that's one of my favorite parts of Wraith Squadron. Just how fucking scary the Intimidator is. Or, no, it's not the Intimidator. That's the name of the Super Star Destroyer that became the Pride of Yavitha. What was Triggett's Star Destroyer called again? Implacable, I think? I think it's Implacable.
Someone check Wikipedia.
Someone check the book.
Implacable, Imperial class, Apwar Trigget, yeah.
Yes, it is.
I like how they just have a picture of a Star Destroyer from Empire at War on the Wikipedia article, because Implacable was one of the names that a Star Destroyer could randomly spawn with.
That's pretty cool.
So, Greyholme, what have you been reading as of late?
Well, I've started Young Jedi Knights.
Oh, very lovely.
I realized that I read it much faster, and it probably is easier if I just read it on my phone, so I am not going to christen my hard copies. I'm too busy to spend time at home reading the hard copies, and there's no way I'm bringing those out. And also, it appears that my reading pace is faster, so, yeah.
I guess I could talk about other interesting things they added to the Thrawn's Revenge mod. They've started putting in stuff for the Hutts and the Cyruk.
Oh, very cool. Cyruk stuff's always good.
Oh,
Greyholme has-
shoot. Quinlan was muted for me because every time somebody joins, I have to click them again.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. No
I'm
worries.
so sorry if I talked over you.
You're good.
No
you're
wonder I
good,
thought
you're
everything
good.
was fucking dead air. Oh, God.
You're all right. You're all right.
Okay.
Don't sweat it, man.
You actually got into the gaps pretty well.
Yeah, you
Not gonna lie.
did.
We were
You
just
did.
psychically in
It
tune.
was amazing. It was pretty smooth, actually. Greyholme, any update
Yep.
on Supernatural Encounters reading?
Nope,
Like
I need
age?
to. Well, I should go back and read it, I guess. I got distracted by the stuff.
By the super dense lore?
No, I just got distracted by reading other books, like and now Young Jedi Knights.
Fair. Young Jedi
But
Knights is a
yeah, very good
justified
point.
detour.
Thanks for reminding me.
Tuck?
And after before Young Jedi Knights, of course, there was all the Han and Lando books.
I
Yeah.
love those so
Those are
much.
so good.
So good.
I need to well, we go to
I'm
New Jedi Order next again.
So sad that, well, A, they probably wouldn't have hired him, but I am so sad that they didn't have, what's his name?
Kevin J. Anderson.
No, L. Neil Smith?
Really?
No.
L. Neil Smith, yeah.
L. Neil Smith.
L. Neil Smith
Who
is the
wrote
Lando one.
Lando? Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved to have him do, like, Lando and Tendra as wandering investors trying to find, like, the next
Ooh.
interesting thing. Like, space capitalism in the silly, like,
That would have been
visiting
so
various
good.
different exotic mining activities, exotic entertainment facilities, just seeing what the next investment could be.
Sounds amazing.
Might even
Yeah.
have, the start of the droid facilities that would eventually become the Yuzan Vong hunters when the Vong invade. Just
Someone
Or you
go
could-
write a new trilogy of Lando books set during the
Bring
late
back
Bantam
your,
era. Tuck.
make him a ship.
like it could be everything. Eventually, he ends up settling on the Corsica mines that you see, the Coruscant mines you see in
Young Jedi
Young
Knights.
Jedi, and maybe a couple of other things. Maybe a few droid foundries that would eventually become, as I said, the Yuzan Vong hunters. That kind
Wait,
of
hang on. Don't they have some kind of droid facilities in Young Jedi Knights? Like they find a droid factory somewhere? I haven't gotten back to that about it again, but it would be pretty cool if Lando bought that afterwards. The one for IG-88.
Oh, yeah, that was where was it that he bought? It wasn't the same place as Brachus in it was Mechas 3, I think, in I think Therefore I Am, and something with a T in yeah, I think it was something with a T in
Ghostfish, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
When you're ready. Have you read the Vader Tech article by Abel G. Pena?
No.
With such a Star Wars technology guy that you are, you absolutely love the ships and all that kind of stuff and the classifications. There is information on every vehicle that has belonged to Anakin / Vader.
Oh,
and down to like miles per hour and specific arsenals in here and specifics on turbines, engines, where he got them from, plus a deep dive into his suit and every part of it and what each function is, and what each part of his suit does, like in a super in-depth way. It's really cool.
Is it online somewhere?
It's in Vader the Ultimate Guide, which I'm currently holding in my hands.
It's a physical article
that I just picked up. I've been checking it out. There's copies on eBay for like $20-$30. There's also a Karen Travis story in here, so it's clearly incredible.
Oh, this was an insider.
No,
page?
It's called Vader the Ultimate Guide.
Oh, okay. I thought it was an article in
the short stories in
Insider
image, right?
called
In Insider, yeah. Vader the Ultimate Guide has it has an impressive catalog of information in here. There's the story of Anakin written by Daniel Wallace. He mentions Rogue Planet in that article where he summarizes Anakin's life from like all the movies, and in between he mentions EU stuff. So he mentions like Rogue Planet and stuff like that. Then after that, you have The Path of Evil by Abel G. Pena, which talks about his psyche. You have Vader Tech by Abel G. Pena, which talks about all the technical specs. You have In His Image short story by Karen Travis. And you have Villain with 1,000 Faces by Pete Vilmer, which talks about in depth all the different
title. That's a cute title.
Yeah, it talks about all the actors who have played Vader and the cultural out-of-universe significant impact of Vader on merchandising. It's a really neat. It's 120 pages or so. It's really cool. So I picked it up so that I can get it signed by Pena at Legends Con.
Outstanding.
Nice.
I have issues. I think it's with Abel. It's either Fry or Pena. He wrote an article that I really, really, really don't like.
Okay.
It was the one about Saris.
That was Pena.
Yeah, that was. I don't know why.
His most disgusting wound.
That is a thing that exists in Star Wars. I understand that. There was the stuff about
why did he have to
Is that the one I'm thinking of? Is that the
that's
one?
the one you're thinking of. That's the one you're thinking of.
Oh my
you don't need to say it.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was one thing. Like it is a thing that has been inferred and even stated a couple times, but that was more detail than we needed. And like, okay, the prophets of the and it was the prophets of the dark side, the freaking villains from Jedi Prince. We don't want to think about that.
That makes Denning look like a Boy Scout.
Yeah, that's like Denning, Stackpole. That they got nothing on
Perry.
Yeah.
Oh, Perry.
Barbara Hamley. Actually, Barbara Hamley sold us.
Did any of you watch? Well, I don't blame you if you didn't. I had a 2-hour and 50-minute video with a really great guy named Oni Link. 9999.
I have not seen that yet. I saw the link to it. I haven't.
I saw some of it, but
super good guy, super positive guy. He had some interesting insight for the Steve Perry chapter involving Zizor and Leia, or Zizor. I always said Zizor.
I really liked Leia. The one thing that I really liked, rereading Shadows of the Empire, is that he really didn't like that the droid was bugging out and calling him Shizor, and whoever wrote and did the voice directing for Empire at War: Forces of Corruption very specifically has Tiber Zahn drag out Shizor in exactly the kind of way that the novel says he hates being called, and that was a great attention to detail.
Tiber Zahn is an incredible character. I think he's really cool, and it's cool that he's like a rival to Zizor. But the perspective that Oni Link shared is while he felt mildly uncomfortable by the scene, I don't know how anyone couldn't. He said that he really liked how it showed Leia's force sensitivity, or implied that it was there early on, like all along in between the original trilogy. He thought that was cool, which is a perspective I hadn't heard before. And he liked how it portrayed Leia as being a strong character, like overcoming it. And I can see that perspective. It's something I hadn't really thought about before, because even though it is a weird scene, maybe it is a necessary one. It really shows Leia as a good character.
I still haven't read Shadows of the Empire, so I can't comment. Though I did read something Zizine sent. That I think Lucasfilm wanted it to be a love triangle.
Ooh.
I know. And then he came up with this instead.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Perry,
that was what happened.
Was it Perry or... No, it was Michael P.Q. McDowell who wanted to make Chewbacca a polygamist.
Yes. And then Lucasfilm told him,
one.
no, he has a family.
In the holiday special.
Use the holiday special stuff.
Brilliant. I love that so much.
Like George likes to say that he'd smash every holiday special, but that he specifically told an author, look, I had an idea. The holiday special did it wrong, but these are his family.
That was Lucasfilm, not George explicitly, I think.
Okay.
I think. I might be wrong.
Technically,
if
they
it
also
was George,
did show
that's
up
amazing.
Technically, yeah.
They showed up in the Marvel comics, New Jedi Order, Legacy of the Force, the Wookiee storybook.
Several of the some of the characters, not his specific family, but some of the Wookiee characters were also from Heir to the Empire or from the Throne trilogy.
And of course, the A.C. Crispin Han Solo trilogy has every Wookiee ever mentioned on Kashyyyk.
Yes.
From the Black Fleet Crisis and Thrawn trilogy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which was a very nice moment from A.C. Crispin.
A.C. Crispin gone too soon. Can you imagine A.C. Crispin, like, what she could have done? Imagine her writing in the post-New Jedi Order period what she could have done.
If she had gotten
writing for New Jedi Order. Oh my goodness.
She hadn't even passed when New Jedi Order came out, so
if she'd written like the Force Heretic trilogy, it would have been infinitely better.
You know, the Force Heretic trilogy.
I found out some interesting things about that. Yeah. Sorry, you go first.
The Force Heretic trilogy had a funny little bit where both Pelion and Mara at some point say sardonic, are described as being sardonic, which I felt like they were just taking a little bit of a joke at.
Yeah.
Okay, that supports what I was going to say even more.
Oh.
Some people have developed a theory that the Force Heretic trilogy was meant to be written by none other than Timothy Zahn.
Oh yeah, because it's the Mara Luke exploring the unknown regions.
Not just that. So Zahn was meant to write part of New Jedi Order, and then supposedly a trilogy, and then he pulled out, presumably because he likes to control stuff and doesn't want something given to him.
Partly that, and partly because he found it was too dark for his style. He liked a little more high-flying adventure.
Yeah.
Who first postulated this theory, Greyholme?
Zizune and I.
Oh, okay.
So apparently Zahn was told to write a trilogy in New Jedi Order, and even in 2005 he was still saying, "I want to do something with the Shiss and the Yushin Vong." So apparently Lucasfilm didn't let him do it for some reason, but apparently Shane Dix and Sean Williams were very inexperienced authors back then. You can check their Wikipedia pages. When you have authors like Greg Keyes, Walter John Williams, R.A. Salvatore, Elaine Cunningham, these are very famous authors from either their own works in other universes or their own works. Or in the case of like Matthew Stover, he's just absurdly good. Or James Lucino, who was connected to Brian Daly, or Stackpole and Alston, who was the only Bantam author, and Tiers, I guess, the only Bantam authors they brought in because they really didn't want to rehire many Bantam authors for some reason. And after that, well, you have Shane Dix and Sean Williams, and they were pretty inexperienced. They hadn't written for Star Wars before. And you have a trilogy that honestly could have been 2 books. Inference, Zahn was meant to write that one, and then he pulled out at the last minute, so they hired relative nobodies.
Now, here's the thing. I really like Sean Williams as a writer. The Force Unleashed books, I personally really enjoy. Fatal Alliance is a book that I love, which I'm like the only person, but I love Fatal Alliance.
Fatal Alliance is the one that nobody remembers anything about.
It's the one where the a Master and Apprentice from the Sith, or a public trooper, a Jedi Padawan,
all
a
A
public
classes,
information
all A
broker,
classes.
and a Mandalorian all team up. And there's these mechanical droids on a lava planet, and it just is a crazy, wacky adventure, twisty, turvy kind of story. I really enjoyed it personally.
I don't think I've read that one.
Adventure.
You
so
wouldn't
I like
remember
Sean Williams.
if you had.
I like Sean Williams as an author. I don't like Shane Dix. I don't think. Maybe it's inexperience, but Shane Dix, whatever he added to Force Heretic, made it so dry that I was like struggling through that trilogy. I've read every book in NJO at least twice, except the Force Heretic trilogy.
Yeah, because it sucks.
Funny
It doesn't suck. Doesn't suck.
Beyond.
It's the weakest of.
Yeah, it's still good. I guess I'd say it's like middle of the road on the lower end for EU stories.
And
Like,
the fact that
what?
there's no chapters is
yeah, it
really
makes it so
frustrating.
hard to read.
Yeah, I mean, I
You
guess
can't
if you have
find a
physical
stopping
copy,
point.
if you have a physical that, and if you have a physical copy, at least you like can feel the progression that you're making. But
Book.
I went the cheaper route. I got it on Kindle, so I felt like the book never ended because
man.
I couldn't feel.
Plus,
it
there's
ending.
3 of them, and there's no
There's 3 of
difference
them,
in
yeah.
tone between them. So it's
No,
just
they feel
one
exactly the same. So it feels like a
long
900-page
chunk.
book I'm reading.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awful.
I liked Force Heretic Remnant
You
because
did,
I love the
really.
Remnants.
I think
and
Remnant's great.
Hellion
great.
is just an absolute Chad in that book, where he just says,
But he's not in the whole
if
thing.
you do not give me what I need to win this fight, I will take the Navy and just fucking leave.
Yeah.
Which is
What a
partly
joke.
why
There's goated
the-
moments within it, but it as a whole is mostly middle of the road, as Brennan said. But yes,
No, I
there's
think
moments like
Remnant's
that which
actually
are
an
fantastic.
A tier book. I think the other 2 are.
A tier, really? A
Yes.
tier.
I
Here's the
really
thing about-
enjoyed Force Heretic 3. I thought the moment with Luke.
Nominor stuff is incredible. And
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
true.
The moment with Luke seeing like young Anakin, that was like a tearjerker moment for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, you're right.
You know,
that was
one
good
cool.
one
to
other
get a
complaint
prequel
I have,
connection,
they
but-
completely missed the mark with Sabatine's character in that book.
Oh,
To me, when
no.
Greyholme, just a sec. Let me mute Greyholme for a second. So
Oh man.
I have the power, unlimited power. Don't worry, Greyholme, just a sec. You're like my best buddy, so don't worry, just a sec. Sabatine is written by Denning, and I think when Troy Denning writes Sabatine, it comes off as endearing and an interesting character that I thought was quirky in the right way. When Shane Dix and Sean Williams write Sabatine, she comes off as annoying, pointless, unnecessary, bland, and they somehow didn't manage to nail her character.
I
So,
disagree. I thought she came
was
across
really annoyed by
fine in Force Heretic.
Okay.
Someone takes that voice clip out of context and send it to Noah and edit it so that Brendan's talking about Denning.
Nah.
Sorry, Greyholme. I just needed to go on a tangent without hearing your cries of despair in the background.
Holy
Someone
shit!
mentioned-
Why does Adumar have this big of a fleet? I mean, I get it it's for gameplay purposes, but having Adumar with the CIS destroyer in orbit is just
Oh
silly.
boy, Liv, you'll destroy me. If
What?
Noah's no longer my ally,
Noah's
then-
your ally?
I think Noah's my ally.
They're like unlikely alliance. I mean, they made videos together. So.
Yeah, we made a YouTube video together, and there's another.
I've never
one to
made a
come.
video
It's
with.
not like you guys are on bad terms.
There's
I've never
another
made a
one
video
to
with
come. I will say
Noah,
that
so
Noah and I
I've
have
never
another
made a
video
video.
coming.
Oh, this is one
I've been
hell of a
live streams,
fucking...
but
For a planet that doesn't have a space fleet, this is one hell of a fleet. They've got. Let's see.
Maybe
what
they
have
just
we-
really ramped up after Adumar.
No,
Well,
this is
they-
before. This is before contact because
Hmm.
the planet is just on the map, and there needs to be something to keep you from taking it over. But it's got a Hutt space yacht like Jabba's ship. They've
Yo,
got.
How's that
Jay.
before contact? They can't have
How's it
gotten...
going, Jalen?
I know
It's been a while.
it's purely gameplay that there's just happens to be a fleet in orbit over Adumar to keep you from taking it early.
How are you doing, man? It's been.
I don't know why
Yeah,
they put it
a
on this
million
early
years.
black map. Oh, hold on, somebody else joined. I've got to
It's going pretty good, Jay.
unmute him.
Oh no, he's in the comments.
Oh, okay. I thought it was another muted person. Hey,
So
Jedi
Alex,
yeah.
how's NJO so far? As you're starting, your Vector Prime review was really good.
Thank you. I mean, I know there's the controversial moment, but once it got past that, I think I didn't really say anything anybody could disagree with. So
I didn't
mostly
think it
just
was
that one thing.
controversial. I thought it was.
I know
top
you
tier,
don't.
Top tier
Thank you.
Magneno Alex moment.
It was my Negan moment, you know. I was bashing heads, making sense, calling names.
Yeah, you're making too much sense. That's
That
why.
was the
That's
stuff
why.
you were talking about
that's why.
with Jason.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
Noah pitched a fit and screamed his head off for 20 minutes in the Discord.
Yeah,
Chat,
see,
you
that's
were
what I'm
making
talking
too
Did no
much
one to
sense.
comment on this?
He couldn't take
He
it.
couldn't leave a
You were
comment, but he could scream about me for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
At least he
and
could
he joined late,
so I could
too.
see it.
If he left a comment, he could boost your engagement.
Exactly.
And then
I do all
both
this
your
hard
point of
work
view
for
and
Noah.
his point of view would be presented
Free
to the
speech.
audience.
Free speech.
I
But now
read his
Alex
fan
still doesn't
fictions
know
for
what
him.
Noah was screaming about. He can
I
only
read
It's
it-
an
guess.
American concept, but then again,
I read
Noah's
his
German.
fan fictions
It's
for
Noah.
him. I've helped him with other things. I've liked his videos, even though I don't know anything about German. I like his videos anyway.
Wait,
I
did you guys
share his
see?
videos.
Did
He
you guys
won't
see
do
Blue
anything for
Pig's
me.
comment on? Okay, no, you know how on a premiered video you can comment as it's premiering live.
Yeah.
Blue Pig left a comment on one of Noah's videos where it was in German, and he said, "Are you okay, Noah? I can't understand you." Acting like something was wrong with Noah because he was speaking German in it. And I about lost it laughing when I saw that comment. I thought that was funny. Blue Pig was just like, "Are you okay, Noah? I can't understand what you're saying."
All right. If you had to work for a warlord,
Wait,
an imperial
I
warlord,
didn't actually finish
Zinj.
my.
Zinj.
Sorry, I didn't know you hadn't finished.
Zinj
No,
gang.
no, sorry, we just kind of got off track. So I've read Vector Prime. I've read the awful Invasion comics, and I read Boba Fett: A Practical Man. I took a small break.
Very nice.
Because the Dune movie is coming out in November.
Yes, it is.
So I wanted to read the Dune prequels since I've already read the original novel.
Very cool.
Before
The Kevin J.
getting
Anderson
to
ones.
that. Yes, Kevin J. Anderson and Brian Herbert. So I'm almost done with the first Atreides. It's really good. I really enjoy it. It's nowhere near Frank Herbert's work, but I never expected it to be. I didn't go into it with that mindset. I just went into it to have a universe be expanded upon and to see some interesting things. Nothing is contradictory. There are some things that I feel were unnecessary, but I also see being completely in line with the character. So, like, the Baron Harkonnen is fat, right? He's like extremely obese. He needs these things these like suspensors to keep him afloat in the original novel. And it's always implied, never flat out stated. Nobody ever says this, or at least he doesn't. So somebody else says it. That's a biased perspective. But it's the idea is just that he got so lazy that he became so fat with his greed and wealth. The prequel book gives me an explanation that is in line with how awful of a person he is, but it's also like, but why? And I won't get into it, but it's a thing that doesn't contradict anything. It's just a little unnecessary, but at the same time, it's so in line with the Baron's character that I don't mind that that's the reason why he gets fat. It's a little bit of poetic irony for how much of a terrible person he is. He's also extremely fit in the first book, which adds more weight to the original book because he used to be thin and healthy, and he used to pride himself
adds
on
more
that.
weight.
Yeah, exactly. See, it's
Wow.
But yeah, so I'm gonna read that trilogy, and then I'll go and read a whole bunch of New Jedi Order, and I might take a break again before Force Heretics, so I can not suffer through that, and read another Dune trilogy.
Or you could read Acts of Cain.
I'll get around to it.
Alex,
But your
maybe you
meeting's
should read-
over.
Maybe you should read the Force Heretic Wikipedia plot descriptions and not read the book.
I gotta read it.
Come
though.
on, it's not that.
Noah is in the
Noah's-
chat.
Did you know, or on Discord, you said that I'm a loser? I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did yet.
He's talking about.
I was told to go kill
He's
myself.
talking about your comments from the.
Yeah.
From the.
Greyholme was
the Vector Prime.
Yeah,
that's.
I still don't like that he says. I know he doesn't mean it because he's just Noah, but it's things that are necessary.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Liv the
Greyholme
traitor
ever
went
done?
over there and said Magneno Alex is crying about you not coming on his video. Yeah, well, it wasn't really crying, Liv. Way to misrepresent him. What I said that he's a baby because he couldn't comment on my video when I do all this stuff for him, but he can complain and yell about me for 20 minutes on Discord.
This is what I like to call a quality autism server drama free area.
Sorry.
We're all EU fans here, everyone.
No, I'm not actually upset. I just think it's funny.
Some of us are better. Some of us are better than others. But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
No, but yeah, it was it's pretty good so far. I'm enjoying it. It's probably
Yes,
one
it
of
is.
Kevin Janderson's stronger works that I've read, and I've had this theory, and I think I've said this to Greyholme and a few others, that I think Kevin Janderson just works better when he's under the reins of someone else.
Mm.
I agree.
Break his wife or anybody, yeah.
Because he's co-authoring this with the son of Frank Herbert, so it still
He needs
feels like Kevin
someone to
Janderson.
keep him straight, like his
Yeah.
wife. That works.
Well,
Oh,
doubled.
yeah. Am I being harsh? I don't know.
No, you're being fine.
So, just out of curiosity, for the people going to Legends Con,
Yeah.
what books are you bringing to get signed? What's the full list?
Do you want me to give mine?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna take Traitor first over,
Of course.
obviously. My second favorite book of all time.
Wait, what's it after? Subway Star?
Yeah.
No comment. Moving
on. Yeah. So I can't believe I admitted that to you. That's like I'm surprised we're still friends after that admission.
I'm going to reread Star by Star with this new Jedi to read with perhaps
Okay, nice.
greater interest than for any other book, because I'm curious if it will be
Are you gonna
as
be
bad as I
nitpicky
think it might
on
be,
it?
or as
Like
I
no one
won't-
level nitpicky?
No, I won't be that bad, but if something stands out, I'll
God.
mention it.
This sentence isn't how I probably like it. Oh my god, this book is awful. Blah 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 blah. Sorry, it's my Noah impression.
Well, given
He
how
would-
he
he would
needs
just say-
people to translate his chronology, I
Since
think he can't nitpick grammar. So
I think his well, since 9 means no in German, he would just be saying 999 the entire time reading it.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we miss you, Jay. It's been a
Man, I
while
miss you
indeed.
too.
But yeah,
I
I'm
see all
taking
this comic
Traitor.
book stuff on Discord.
No, you're not.
I'm taking.
I'm gonna take Trader. I want that signed
I'm-
by Matthew Stover. I need
Nice,
that signed
nice.
by Stover.
If I could go, I think
Wow.
the only one that I have, for some reason, 2 copies of Trader. I think I might actually have 3, but I only
You
see 2
what?
of them now.
You're a lucky
I don't know
man.
how I got this extra copy
I
of
also
Trader.
have 2 copies of Traitor.
I have only
I'm not sure
one.
how
Can I
I
get an extra copy?
Alex, do you have Traitor?
I do have Trader. You gave it to me, but I want
Oh, good.
another one.
Okay.
I want to
didn't
give it
remember.
to someone.
I didn't remember what I'd given you, so I'm
You gave
glad.
me all of New Jedi Order. There's not a single
Oh,
New
did
Jedi
I?
Order that I'm missing. Yep, every single one.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
So every single one of Legacy of the Force as well. And then I have Backlash of Fate of the Jedi.
Oh, okay.
But I own them all on Kindle, so it's
Okay,
fine.
nice. Okay.
But yeah, I
Well-
mean, eventually I'll have all of them physically, but not until I move out.
Nice. So you're gonna bring lots of stuff to get signed. That's awesome. Especially signatures are not costing anything, guys.
Yeah,
We-
they're
we were-
free completely.
We're expecting that they would be 20, 10, maybe even $30 a signature.
Wait, they're not
So now
charging.
your only limit is
They're not
your
charging
luck.
anything.
They're not charging anything
Unless
for
you
any
don't bring your
signature.
own book, in which case you buy a book off them.
In
type thing.
which case you buy a book, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
taking
not
hopefully you
charging for
don't buy an
signatures.
Essential Legends collection.
Yeah, a lot of
taking,
those Essential Legends covers, not very good.
Yeah,
you
Sackle's
know,
gonna wind up
like-
bringing like the new iJedi or something, assuming it's out by then. I can't remember when it's
You
releasing.
know, I haven't heard from Christopher Nelson in months, but I made a post on Instagram, which my Instagram posts automatically also go to Facebook. And I was just sharing Brennan's talking to Legends Con
Yeah.
about the free autographs, and you know, and I haven't heard from him all this time. He starts with yeah, man, if only Legends Con was actually about legends or something like that. And I'm paraphrasing, but I just thought it was funny. He's like, no, I hope you have a good time with everyone. I need to
Yeah,
get
I
my
know.
little jab in there since it's about to happen.
Chris
I was like,
Nelson
fair
and I
enough.
may or may not have talked extendedly for hours at a time about the pros and cons to Legends Con, because it is definitely not pro movement,
Yeah, that's the thing.
and it is not good for the movement, arguably, and it could
We can make
potentially
it
be
good with those video ideas we
dangerous
have.
for the movement. So that is why it is important that we have so many people who are in this kind of hardcore niche YouTube EU community going. I think there's 11 of us who will be
What's
there.
the main downside here?
Well, I don't want to get into that now. I can explain to you later via email if you'd like.
Yeah.
All right, sure.
There's a lot of stuff around it that Chris Nelson, me, Matt, Scott, Alex, Greyholme, many others are skeptical about.
Yeah, I originally
regards
wasn't going to
to-
go at all. The only reason I'm going
yeah.
is because Brennan and Marcel kind of gave me an AA meeting about it. Like they
Yeah.
called me privately on Discord, and I thought I was in trouble with the principal, and like, hey, me a copy. And I'm like, what's up? What'd I do? And they're like, oh, nothing. But you have to come to Legends Con. I'm like, I don't know. You know, I've been listening.
Alex,
to
something we didn't tell you is
Yeah.
Marcel and I called each other first to talk about how we approach it. We talked for like 20 minutes on strategy. We're like, we've got to get him to come.
Yeah.
Because Marcel and I were like, we're making a commitment to come all this way, and if Alex lives just like an hour and a half away and he's not there, why would we do it? So we were like, we got to get him to come no matter what. And
Yeah,
now,
so they're like, and
now
we paid for your ticket, so you have to go.
I have your ticket, so you have to come.
Yeah.
So that's that. Also, Stover's going to be there.
True.
So
Yes.
yeah. But back to that, I'm taking a paperback of Shadows of Mindor and Traitor to get signed. I'm taking a hardcover of Shadows of Mindor for Greyholme for Stover.
Thank you very much.
I'm taking 2 Legacy 2 volumes, the only 2 I have so far, for Karina Becco. I'm taking Vader: The Ultimate Guide for Pina and a copy of Skywalkers for Pina, as well as I'm taking I printed out myself a mass market paperback copy, and I printed out a trade paperback, so I'll be able to give him a copy of his own digital book, because I think that would be cool, and he might not have that.
Yeah.
So it was Chris Nelson's idea. Then for Randy Stradley, I'm taking my Crimson Empire epic, and I'm gonna take some of the dark Times graphic novels that I have. I think volume 1, 2, and 7 are what I would take.
Shit! Somebody beat me to Wayland. That's annoying.
And then I'm gonna get Craig Miller's book. He's gonna be there as well. For Sean Stewart, I'm taking my paperback of Yoda Dark Rendezvous. I don't have hardcovers really; they're so expensive, so I just have like beat up paperbacks.
I think the only hardcover I have is
myself.
I think the only hardcover I have is Order 66, and only because it only came out in hardcover when I wanted it.
Gotcha. I only have Crystal Star, and New Rebellion, and Balance Point.
Wait, no,
nice.
no.
New Rebellion, very nice.
I have a hardcover of Children of the Jedi. It's beat up. I got it.
That's amazing.
Help! I earned that one actually. I was doing charity work helping clean up a library who needed to move all their books out to other libraries because they were renovating, and they said, you can take a couple books. I got Children of the Jedi and Lobsters, Gangsters of the Sea.
Very nice.
Just the most ridiculous title.
I mean, it sounds incredible.
This place has Golem.
That sounds like
and
a Sharknado sequel on sci-fi.
Yeah.
I have Vector Prime and the Crystal Star. I got them really cheap from a used bookstore. Yeah. I've also seen like all the Phantom Menace ones at once, plus Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. But and I guess I saw Invincible once as well. But I never got the prequel ones because I already have the Dark Lord trilogy, and I was with other people and would have to get money from my brother, who would have gone, you already have the omnibus, why are you buying 4 hardcovers of the same book?
For Stackpole, I'm going to take both of the Dark Tide books from New Jedi Order.
Nice.
Nice.
What are you?
I know he didn't have a great time writing those, but
I love those books so much. Alex, are you going to take Dark Tide?
Dark Nest?
I almost said Dark Nest.
You could get Stover to sign Dark Nest since he was an exterminator. He'd love it.
I want to get Noah to sign Dark Nest sometime. Actually,
I'll bring Dark Tide and the first X-Wing novel.
Nice. That's what I was considering as well.
Yeah.
I don't think
if it was
Jedi.
Alston, I'd bring Iron Fist, but I can't do that.
Rest in peace.
I'd have brought Adamar if I was going.
I don't have my physical Adamar anymore. I don't think
You just have to bring him back from the dead, and then just prop him up. It's easy.
Yeah.
Bring a Ouija board to the convention.
Brennan, can we mention our plan for what we were gonna do?
I think
kinda
we
like
should
help
keep
the EU
that
movement?
secret until we
Okay.
upload it. Well,
Okay.
also, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do, you know, the cringy YouTube videos where some big YouTuber's like, I met this other big YouTuber.
Yes.
It's got little like cringy
Do
thumbnail.
it, please.
I'm gonna make one of those, but it's gonna say I met the Revanchist and Magneno Alex. And it's gonna have like, I'm gonna get you guys to do cringy thumbnail faces if you'd be so obliged.
Sure, but all I'll say
That
then
sounds
is
nice.
that even if Christopher Nelson and others like myself are don't think that that Legends Con is necessarily movement centered, perhaps despite that we can make it be so with some of the plans we have.
Exactly.
Good
for it.
idea.
Plus,
because we plan on doing some stuff there.
Plus, we're
raise
hoping. Why
awareness.
does Blue Pig have 2 people in here? Blue
the-
Pig. Why are there 2 of you?
It's entirely possible he had that issue where if you comment too much on a
Okay.
PC, you can't comment again, and you have to log in a second account.
Okay, so let me add the second one.
Blue Pig, you can also go to a.
Yeah, it's fixed.
If
now.
you do it on mobile, they'll let you. I think it might have something to do with ad blockers.
Also, I'm hoping to do a stream on Saturday night and Sunday night if Alex and Marcel would be willing.
Sure.
Yeah.
From our hotel and give our wrap up of the day.
Unfortunately, I'll be in a place with terrible internet, but I would love to.
I'll also be doing
actually
post
about that
on when I'm back home. Thoughts?
I'm hoping that I just think it would be so cool, like the idea of being in the same frame as Alex or Marcel doing a stream. Sounds so amazing, and I think it would be important for the community to hear our thoughts on how the con's going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because like for next year, if people are gonna go, they can decide based on like our reaction of the day-by-day breakdown. Plus, we're gonna record interviews, and I'm really excited about
please
meeting Joe
record
Bongiorno.
everything.
I'm hoping to do a
Absolutely
video with Joe
everything.
Bongiorno while I'm there too.
Nice.
As much as my phone can hold.
Yeah, literally, I'm gonna be trying to dump all my photos onto a
How much
USB
space do you have on your phone?
I have like.
bit.
Okay, wait. Let me check. Let me check my storage
I
right
record
now.
all
I
my
have
YouTube videos on my phone, so.
Oh, very nice. My computer's out of storage right now. I can't use my editing software because there's so, like, I don't have enough storage to open it.
Uh-oh.
So far, my iCloud has 50 gigabytes, and I have 11.6 used. So hopefully I'll have enough.
You should. How much storage does your phone have?
50 gigabytes. So I'm gonna try to dump as much as I have. I'm already paying for like the extra storage feature.
Nice.
Because Apple cheats you on storage.
Yeah.
Do you know why they are not charging for signatures? Slov, sorry I didn't get to this until now. I do not know. I think it's author's personal preference. Legends Con gave them the option of doing either, and they all deferred, which is really kind.
I
very
posted it
generous
on
of
Instagram, but it's just a little conversation that Brendan had with them, and he asked, like, is it going to be like a little bit cheaper since it's a smaller con? And they replied, as far as we're aware, none of the authors have said that they're going to make anybody pay for it. So,
Which is amazing because I'm taking all the money I've saved so far.
Maybe
I'm like
technically this did have to get the okay from the mouse, and that, well, these are not screenwriters, so no, that wouldn't affect it at all either. Odd.
Yeah, well, the screenwriter stuff won't apply because the people there was the thing like would Saga or the SOG writer strikes currently affect if they're allowed to be at the con. But according to the Legends Con official Instagram page, who I messaged, writers for novels and comics are not actively taking part in the strikes.
Yes.
The only people, well, the only person really who would have been affected is Michael Reeves because he wrote a lot of TV episodes. But unfortunately, he's passed.
Rip Michael Reeves.
Also, the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon and
Slav,
Batman the animated series.
Slav, do you remember your reaction as soon as the news broke? I messaged the Discord server and said something like, Well, Michael Reeves is gone. And you replied, I guess he won't be at Legends Con then.
Was he scheduled to show?
No, he wasn't scheduled to
Not
show.
that we
but
know
there
of,
was,
anyway.
There was theorizing.
But then again,
Stackpole was
Michael
revealed,
Reeves has had
cancer.
Reeves has had a lot of health issues, not just cancer, but also brain stuff, which is why he had to keep getting co-authors.
Yeah, poor fella.
At least we got all those EU books out of him.
Yeah.
I've only read one of them. I need to read the rest soon.
I've read, I think, the first 2 of Coruscant Nights, and I've read.
Oh, nice.
And I've read, and I've listened to and I've read Shadowhunter, and I've listened to the audiobook of MedStar 1, but it's abridged, so it doesn't count.
I've read Shadowhunter. That's it.
Yeah, the only abridged audiobook that counts for anything is the one that's read by Wedge Antilles, because...
Yep, that should count. That, of course, needs to count.
So, I like that. I really hate that the bounty hunters you get are randomized in this game, and you only get one ever. So you basically just have to save scum until you get Boba, because there really is nothing quite as useful as the jetpack. Yeah, most of the ones who don't have a jetpack option have regeneration or a personal shield, which is also useful. But being able to just jetpack away to a healing station you built in a corner of the map is significantly better. But some of the other options are a random Weequay who has a personal shield, and I don't know what the heck he's from. Bosk, Dengar, and Snuva, which I was not expecting. You guys know who Snuva is, right? Do you not remember Snuva?
No.
He's from wait just a second. Let me
He doesn't directly appear, I don't think, in anything.
Is he from an RPG?
No, he's the disguise.
He's the guy who Chewbacca disguises himself as.
Yes, and he wasn't dead. He was just locked up at the time. So one of the NPC, one of the bounty hunters you might randomly get if you're playing Thrawn's Revenge is Snuva.
Crazy.
Which is kind of cool.
There's lots of. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page right now. There's lots of artwork for him, that's for him and not Chewbacca.
Really?
There's a lot of artwork for him, actually.
Yeah,
Wow.
He must have shown up in a few other things then.
Supposedly so.
Yeah, he's an interesting one. But like I said, jetpack is just in an RTS. Movement and vision are critical. Also, theoretically, Boba is good if you use him in space, because the bomb can take out clusters of fighters, but he's just too vulnerable in space to ever use in space. It's like how when the game originally had the Eclipse and the Emperor as the same unit, you would literally never take the Emperor onto the ground, because it's the Eclipse. You're not going to risk losing the Eclipse in order to have the Emperor go around zapping people on the ground. Since all battles in this are actually won in space.
Well, as it nears 2 a.m. for me, I think I'm going to want to wrap things up shortly.
All right.
I shudder to think how late it is for Pico.
It's
at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Eastern time zone. I've been there.
Yeah, it's coming up on 3, but it's the weekend, so.
Indeed.
I got an 8-hour shift, but it's okay because it's not 12 for me yet.
I have a geometry test, a geometry quiz,
and a math.
So that's fun. Yes, on a Saturday. So that's fun.
But at least it's not Geometry Dash.
That's funny.
That's a blessing.
I really do like this mod. It's so much fun. If you really like the Imperial, they're eventually going to add the Vong, although they've said other people have tried to add the Vong. And the issue is the Dovin bases are just very hard to simulate, because you can simulate a percentage chance of a projectile just not landing, you can give every ship a dodge chance, but there's no way to really simulate the ability to quickly overwhelm them and then hit them with something big. So it just involves a bunch of ships with no shields, but a block chance that doesn't go up or down based on how many things are shooting at it, or the angles. So it's I don't know how the official mod team is going to do it. Apparently they've gotten a lot of help from Petroglyph, who sometimes goes back and patches Empire at War just to help the modders, which God bless.
Slov's here. Guess that's time for us to go. Just
Mhm.
kidding.
Yeah,
What?
sounds
Oh,
like
hey,
it.
Slov.
Just kidding.
Hey,
Seeing the voice
what's
now?
going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I do
Hello,
something wrong?
Slav.
No,
Oh no,
kidding.
it's
No,
just
we're
I
just
need to
wrapping up.
I
Not
need to
yet.
tab back in and manually let myself hear you.
Oh. It's nice to see you, man.
Nice to meet you. I think we might have been on this room before. I don't remember when.
I think so. You sound familiar. I have very bad memory, so don't worry. I go into the same store just about every day, but I forget all the employees' names. It either means I'm very rude or
that's
I'm like
me.
stupid.
Maybe a mix of
Or both.
Yeah, that's probably
Mm.
it. I'm getting better. I know Katie. I called her
That's
Caitlin one day. Yeah.
Close enough.
Hey, dumb broad. I'm gonna get your name
Ironically,
wrong.
the one person who's worked at a place that I remember the name of is the person I shouldn't believe.
Oh,
I
yeah?
literally just remember her because she's named Cassandra, and I remember saying the first time she told me that, I don't believe you.
Resident Evil 8.
Because, a nice little Iliad reference. I was with my well-educated, quasi-grandfather, and he really liked that I'd said that.
Yeah, man.
That was fun.
Uh-huh. Brandy, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing pretty good. What about you, Slavy? It's been a while since you've been on the channel.
Oh, I like your cute names for one another. It's funny.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say something, but I don't know if that's appropriate. Never mind. But yeah, no,
yeah, and I
been a while
didn't
since I've
mean
been
to.
here.
I didn't mean to ghost you on your questions about my timeline. I was sitting in a Wendy's eating a cheeseburger when I saw what you said, and I typed out a response, but I guess the reception wasn't there and it didn't send. Like when I just opened up your Discord, I was like, where are my messages? So I wasn't trying to ghost you, man. I had
Typical
replied,
Discord mobile moment.
but yeah, Discord
Literally.
mobile.
Yeah,
So, sorry for that.
That's happened to me before. It's annoying.
I had a that reminded me when the Brandy thing. I realized that people didn't. You remember how KJ and Moesta would always describe people's eyes as Brandy Brown in Young Jedi Knights, and it just didn't show up again in New Jedi Order until I think the first time I heard it used for the solo kids again was Dark Journey. It wasn't used until then for the entire.
That
rest
makes
of
sense.
NJL.
I think Elaine Cunningham read Young Jedi Knights.
Yeah. But I think I was listening to the audiobook while I was playing Fallout or something. And I heard Brandy Brown. I'm just like, oh, hey, I haven't heard that in a long time. But yeah, it was weird. It kind of just disappeared for the first half of.
It's kind of sad how Kevin J. Anderson just uses the same adjectives over and over again. I know Pico and Dan got really annoyed by Mother of Pearl.
I like
Does
that.
he say that?
I like that.
I hate that one so much.
Does he say that in a book?
Yeah, every time he mentions Tion.
Every time Tion's on screen.
Isn't that like what they say in SpongeBob? Like what?
Yeah, but this is her eyes.
There's also
I mean, my friend at work says,
and then
says that
there's
all the
also
time.
Brachus being beautiful.
I like the
Alright.
description.
I was gonna
I
say
like the description, but he could
I don't know.
just
It's
change
nice.
it every so often.
yeah. Or just something like pearlescent or something, you know?
I don't
it's not
go
even all that
around and
different.
say, this is Brennan, my long-haired friend, to everyone I meet. And then I'm not allowed to say, my long-haired friend Brennan.
You do make
Yeah, but are they saying that in sentences or is
Yes.
that like description?
No, that's the narrator.
I
That's the
don't care.
narrator, not
It's a young
not the
adult
characters.
Yeah,
I was
It would
I
be
was
like
gonna
it
say
would be like me.
I could rag on Stackpole
Stackpole
A.
and his sexy time.
Well,
Well, no, I was going
How
to
about
specifically.
Zahn and sardonically? I want to kill
there's
myself.
Zahn and
actually,
Sardonic,
Pico.
but Stackpole.
Kevin
I'd
is
act-
much worse than Zahn and Sardonic.
What you're saying, Pico, is basically if I went into any social situation and I was there with Slov and I introduced Slov as my friend wearing the ski mask like at all times.
You'd sound
Would
like
it
you
be
were
like
You'd sound like an accomplice in a robbery, but
exactly.
Would it be accurate?
There
Do
would
you actually
be,
have a ski mask, Slav? Because I picture you wearing it at the computer. Like
No,
if you were
I don't.
to
I
just turn
probably
your
should.
camera on right now, you're wearing a ski mask.
That's
You
what
know,
he can do.
if
So
I
he
had
can
a
hide his
balaclava,
anonymity.
Oh, it's a
I-
balaclava. My bad.
Yeah, that's what that is called.
Yeah, if I had a balaclava, I'd probably wear it. If I had a like a what is it, like a camera, like a. But I don't actually have a camera for my computer.
Yeah. Me neither. I
At
was
Legends
gonna
Con,
say-
I'd probably walk around with one. Although the security would probably stop me and say, "What are you doing?" I don't know.
So I was gonna say, it technically goes back to before he was writing for Star Wars, and it's literally his first set of books. But Azure Bolts of Man-Made Lightning for Stackpole. If you have ever, does that ring a bell to anyone, or does nobody read BattleTech stuff?
I do not.
I have not.
Not
I know
yet.
someone who's been meaning to, but then he still hasn't finished Heroes Die yet. It's taking him a while.
The
Life stuff.
the
That's
particle
relatable, Greyholme.
the particle projector cannons are always
Not
called.
finishing Heroes Die is relatable.
Yes, Venom.
And it's not that I don't like it. It's insanely good. I just don't have time.
What's
I wish
Heroes
I
Die?
did.
Matthew Stover's masterpiece.
Acts of Cain.
Because Greyholme
It's the
loves
first book.
Stover. And he's only going to talk about Stover. He wants you to read Acts of Cain and everything that Stover's ever touched. And if you don't do it, then you're a failure.
Well, see, here's
Yes.
the thing. When me and Alex are at the con and Marcel starts talking about Acts of Cain, we're just going to be lost.
So here's the thing. Marcel has already read Acts of Cain all through at least once. He's rereading the final book, which is extremely confusing, and possibly reading that Sean Stewart book I read a short while back. So
Hey, I
while
plan on
Marcel
it,
goes
okay.
off to interview Matthew Stover about Acts of Cain, and hopefully also talks to Sean Stewart about Nobody's Son, the two of you will have to just sit there staring at him,
So
not
wait,
knowing what's
will
going on.
If Marcel makes a YouTube video, he'll be filming him talking to Matthew Stover, and he'll be talking about Acts of Cain, and then in the background you'll see two awkward people standing there. One with long hair, one that looks like Alex.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I didn't know how to describe you. Buzz cut, except I can't describe that anymore.
Because I don't have one.
Yeah, the long hair is looking good, man. It's coming in very nice.
I don't think
I
so.
now need
but
to.
thank you.
I need to make Marcel do this.
Yeah. Alex, ironically, when you had a buzz cut and you started growing your hair out, my friend who had hair about your current length got a buzz cut. Like around the same time. I don't know if
That's
I ever
great.
told you that.
No, you didn't. That's great though.
Hey,
Definitely
Don't
not
do
Noah.
that to you, man.
Alex, I'm DMing you something currently.
You're DMing.
I already know why Stover thinks The Last Jedi is his favorite film. Don't need to get him to talk about that.
No,
No,
because it's a Legends Con. I don't want to hear anything about Disney there.
Except they'll be
Indeed.
selling
Since
Baby
Disney has
Yoda
its
merch
own
there.
con.
What?
Entire Star Wars con. They don't
Well,
need to be.
here's the fine
mentioned
print
in
at
ours.
Legends Con. They mention on the site that they'll be selling a wide variety of merchandise from all across.
I mean,
the
I don't care
various
about merchandise so
Star Wars
long as they aren't
universes.
talking about it.
Sadly.
That's my only issue, because don't call it Legends Con if you're going to be talking about Disney canon. They're going to have a whole, way more expensive one called Star Wars
exactly.
Con down. They're going to have their time, so don't talk about it.
I think they
at Legends
technically call it Celebration, but yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at
whatever
Blue
celebration,
Chill.
whatever. They have their thing. They don't need to be talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blue Pig. You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well,
You
how's this, Blue
terrific
Pig?
troll.
You can listen to only Disney canon stuff at Legends Con, and then Celebration can be entirely about Legends. How about that?
That would be funny.
Yes, actually, this is a very apt description of how Legends Con's approaching that.
So here's the thing. Here's what I'm curious about. Is there going to be anybody like from the story group there, or like?
I hope not.
Anybody that
I don't
curious.
think so.
Is like is
Matt
Chi
Martin
be there?
Did you know Matt Martin talked about it?
Who's Matt Martin?
He's on the Lucasfilm.
He's on the
isn't he?
story.
He's like
group.
the youngest guy on the Lucasfilm story group.
Was he?
The
what did he
story
say
group,
about it?
aka the destructive group. Well, he's been criticized. He always says, "Oh, I'm an expanded universe fan. Oh, I love Legends," right? And then the fans have pointed out that he's done nothing to support it. So he took Legends Con as an opportunity to say, everyone go support Legends. This amazing con is happening. It's so good for the community. Go out and show your support to it, is what he said on Twitter. So we know Lucasfilm's aware of it. And interestingly,
they had to get approval from Lucasfilm.
They had to get approval. And interestingly, Lucasfilm also know that copies of Supernatural Encounters will be sold there, and they're doing nothing to stop it. Isn't that interesting that they wouldn't stop the sale of fan fiction at a con that is?
You think they'd be more inclined to stop? Well, I could argue for both sides of that. They'd be more inclined to stop it if they did consider it official. I could also make that argument,
It's not about discriminating. It's called Legends Con. Therefore, it's not supposed to have Disney discussions. When they have a way bigger budget celebration that's going to be entirely about all the Disney stuff. It's going to be all about that and not about Legends at all.
It's not even going to be about the original trilogy or the prequels.
No, it's going to only be about whatever's coming out moving forward. That's what it's going to be about. So why can't we just have the Legends Con be about Legends?
Matt Martin essentially used Legends Con as a crutch to boost his street cred with expanded universe fans. Whatever that's
Remind me to tell you something about the Legends Con behind the scenes once we get offline.
Okay.
I know a bit about this, I think.
Well, I mean, I don't know everything.
Noah, newsflash,
It's
it already
literally coming
is.
It is.
And the books are in the mail. So
yeah.
They're all coming to Joe
when Brennan's
right now.
holding it, he can send you a picture on Discord just to piss you off about why he's right and you're wrong.
No, I won't just send a picture. I'll make a whole video called "I Told You
Much
So,"
better.
Noah.
No, yeah, say specifically
Good.
"I told
Make
you
it
so."
a stream.
Noah. Yeah, make it a whole thing.
Make it a stream.
Just so he can cry
Also,
later for being retarded.
And not buying Supernatural
Also,
Encounters.
Blue Pig, they'd care about fan fiction being sold because it would violate licensing, I believe.
Yeah, I mean,
money would be being made.
Wouldn't official
for
stuff being
profit
sold
on
without
something
giving them a
unofficial.
cut also violate licensing, though? So
I was
you
going
can
to
make
say,
the same argument one way or the other.
it won't, because Supernatural Encounters was licensed for online release, and the hard copy version is a special thing which was approved, I believe, and it's non-profit. It's only just to cover the cost.
Interesting.
Correct.
Okay, so if it's sold at non-profit, they might. Okay,
yeah,
all right, it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter. Your previous argument was that it's never going to come out. Now it's coming out.
It's also entirely
Regardless, it comes
possible.
out.
I'm not sure if they've explicitly said this, but I think if they charge a bit of extra for the conversions, it would go to the Peter Mayhew Foundation as part of
He wasn't
con
writing you
proceedings.
stories, Blue Pig.
I'm not sure if they're doing that, but if there's any money being quote-unquote made, it would be going to the Peter Mayhew Foundation as part of con proceedings.
Also,
so Lucasfilm would be
Slava-
fine with that.
I'm just going to say Slav was going to say something. I'll make sure he got his piece in.
Oh, thanks, Alex. I was just going to say that, I mean, Lucasfilm is letting this happen. I mean, that gives them some quality, or some, something
Yes,
there.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like the story group could, they know about it, and they're not. I mean, and that's the thing. Is like I see, like, I know everybody here likes to shit on, or sorry, they don't like Pablo Hidalgo. Sorry, Brennan. And it's
I'm
like,
fine with him.
Yeah, it's like I think he does like Legends. He talks about it a lot. I just like.
I think the issue with Pablo is just that he does like Legends, but he's also willing to just crap on it if the need arises, because he's erased Twitter comments he's made about being kind of sassy with fans when they've said stuff. But
There is
so
a
it's just
Twitter
flip-flops
post
on what
saying,
he-
"Never believe anything I say on Twitter."
I think he likes the EU. He just doesn't like EU fans, and I can understand that. I can understand that.
Whoa, Slov. Slov.
Take yourself hate somewhere else.
Wait, Blue.
Brennan is pretty
This
toxic.
panel
That's
are
understandable,
EU
honestly.
fans, Slov.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Blue Pig's being a troll, but I have to address it. So, first off, Quillen makes a good point. Noah's work is amazing, but no offense, Joe's professional writer, and this book is exhaustive, impressive literature. Noah has also written 1,000 pages, but his 1,000 pages are summaries of stories that already happened by other people, not by him. What?
Okay, let me
Joe
read you.
Bongiorno is doing is writing entirely new stuff.
Let me read you Blue Pig. I see Blue Pig said it's easier to write an original story than to do all the extensive research Noah has to do. Let me read you something and let me share my screen so that you can understand just what work Joe Bongiorno has done. I'm going to go down to a specific update day that he did. Also, Noah, here are the physical copies. Let me go all the way down, and I'm not trying to be snarky. I'm just trying to prove a point. No, Alex is. But let me go all the way down and try to find this. It may have been last year that he posted this, but he talks about how hard it is to write this for a variety of specific reasons. Okay, here it is. Hey everyone, hope all, and this is Joe Bongiorno. Hope all finds you safe and well in our ever-troubling times. I'm up to page 809, which Harry tells me is over 90% of the way through. I wanted to say how much I appreciate your charitableness in regards to the length of time this has taken. Perhaps with today's update, I can delve into some of the reasons why this project has taken so long. Talk a bit about the process and continuity, and do so without rambling on for too long.
No one's making Noah write his either.
It occurs to me that many, but not all, modern writers tend to work like landscapers. They're hired to do a job, make the property look good, and do so quick and efficiently. The problem is that actually causes more harm than good. As the New York Times notes, nearly everything about how Americans care for their lawns is deadly. Pesticides prevent wildflower seeds from germinating and poison the insects that feed songbirds and other wildlife. Lawnmower blades set too low chop into bits the snakes and turtles and baby rabbits that can't get away in time. Mulch piled too deep smothers ground nesting bees and often the very plants that mulch is supposed to protect as well. But the gasoline-powered leaf blower exists in a category of environmental heck all its own, spewing pollutants, carbon monoxide, smoke-forming nitrous oxides, carcinogenic hydrocarbons into the atmosphere at a literally breathtaking rate. They get the job done, but at a cost to our health, environment, and wildlife. There exists safe alternatives, but those take longer. One would hope that with knowledge and concern for people, nature, and our fellow creatures, this might change. Yet because most want to get the job done and move on to the next assignment, it probably won't happen until people demand it. This strikes me as similar to writing in a shared universe. Writers, editors, and publishers demand everything quickly. What suffers is the character's setting and history. As I noted, there is a better way, and if you've been an expanded universe fan for some time, you'll have seen the considerable care taken with this matter of continuity, which is a word we throw around a lot, but it simply means ensuring the integrity of the larger story. In an ideal world, we'd only hire editors and writers who already have a deep familiarity with the universe or are willing to learn about it. Of course, it's not an ideal world, but the only way we'll ever get close to that is not to dismiss it as impossible, but to hold it up as a goal to be attained. Suffice it to say that the EU did not always have careful contributors or editors who cared to steer writers along the right path. It did well enough, but I think with a little less output and more time and care given to coordinating and planning in advance certain storylines, they could have presented bigger cross-media events akin to Shadows of the Empire.
Is he pointing out like Denning right there? Is he singling him out? Feels like
careful, Slov. Careful.
Nice one there, Slov. Nice one.
Thank you.
No, Greyholme, he doesn't get the nice because he hasn't read anything there. He's only heard what other people have said.
I know,
but
it's still a nice one.
It's
still a nice one.
This is about to get to the most important part.
Give it as a joke.
You said Joe's only writing new material, and Noah did exhaustive research. Joe did exhaustive research and wrote new material. Listen, let's take, for example, The Exiles, which I just finished proofreading. The Exiles were Jedi who turned to the dark side around 7000 BBY and started a war against the Jedi and Republic called the 100-Year Darkness. It's a big historical period, but there's no book or comic that details these events or its participants. What exists are scattered bits of lore across numerous sources. It would be easy to simply turn to Wikipedia for all the answers, but wikis are notoriously prone to errors, omissions, and mistakes, which is normal and to be expected due to human error. And it's for this reason one should always go to the original source. But even there, care must be taken, as one can easily come away with a wrong impression, so rechecking things can help to ensure accuracy. This happened to me. I read Corey J. Herndon's short story, Korriban, Planet of Lost Souls, an extremely obscure story that was only released on the Wizards of the Coast online website. It's a really good story if you want to read it. That's my little interjection. But back to what Joe said. At least three. He read Corey J. Herndon's short story Korriban, Planet of Lost Souls at least 3 times to figure out exactly what was going on with the artifact known as the Heart of Grosh. And yet I came away thinking the first mate of Captain Feliud's ship was male. Granted, that character wasn't the focus of my research, but I still made the mistake, and it took Patrick, one of my editors, to point it out. And that was just something that compromised maybe a paragraph or 2. Excuse me. Then there's the matter of characterization. Most EU sources have the Exiles operating as a collective, but it was important to explore them as individuals, but only to a point. Supernatural Encounters isn't a novel because it covers epochs. It doesn't have the luxury of space to describe each of them in depth, but with the use of dialogue and a careful brush, one can convey some aspects of their personalities and ideologies based on clues found in the text to help figure out what makes each one unique. Were they students, teachers? What organizations did they later join? Dark Path, Black Legions? Baron Drapa is possibly the most fleshed out in the EU due to his appearance in Lost Tribe of the Sith Spiral. There we find a rather boorish figure who doesn't care about collateral damage or even his own troops. His followers abandon him and join the Jedi against him. That says a lot about who he is, and from that one can extrapolate backwards. But it's not always so cut and dried. Drapa doesn't have much written about his youth, so that leaves room for interpretation. But in cases where there is lore, it's important to examine it without bias or preconceived notions. Case in point, I had incorrectly assumed that the Sith Lord Frida Nad had been an arrogant child with a mean streak, but a more careful look at his story in the Tales of the Jedi Companion did not reveal an egotistical personality, but one that was sensitive with feelings of inadequacy. And rereading it again with a closer look at the Jedi involved in this training, a picture emerged of deep flaws in the way they handled him. So there's a lot of legwork involved in making sure everything lines up correctly, and much of the time it's for the sake of ensuring that one paragraph or sentence is accurate. It may seem foolish to go through so much time and effort for so little gain, but any of us who write in a shared universe are beholden to what came before. My first writing job was as a journalist, and I took it seriously because I believe truth matters, and I believe it matters in a fictional history as well. We're caretakers of a property. We plant, we prune, we harvest. We don't destroy unless something is diseased. We grow, maintain, and look out for the well-being of the people, land, and wildlife, while making the whole neighborhood better as a result. And within those parameters is plenty of room for inspiration and creative freedom. It is a lengthier process, and that's especially true for something this sprawling. While I don't have editors beating down my door for a deadline, that doesn't mean that I don't have a deadline in mind. I'm bound to all of you, my contributors and supporters, and I don't expect you to wait forever so that I can dot every I and cross every T, despite my inclination to do just that. It's been quite a few years now, and your patience has been exceptional, but I don't intend to stretch it out for much longer. I expect to have this book done before the year is up, which didn't happen. For financial reasons and other obligations that have been put on the back burner, I have to. He's losing money on this, guys. But I'm grateful to have had the time and glad you were all along for the ride. So case in point, he read an obscure story, assumed the gender of a character, and later found another source that described that the gender was completely different. This would mean Supernatural Encounters is contradicting something because he took one source's word and didn't consider all sources' word. And one source didn't say, one source did. So it's a good thing he looked at both. Otherwise, the gender of a character would be different in Supernatural Encounters. So he is doing the extensive research, and he's doing the writing of new material. Thus ends my rant, Noah.
Not to mention, with actual novels like we see throughout the EU, they have thank you the thank you section, the acknowledgments, and they always mention other people doing exactly this, going, hey, you did this wrong, fix it. But they had a whole team of people back then. This is one guy and a couple others that are helping him just because they want to. So it's going to take a lot longer. And Blue Pig, you're going to eat your words when Brendan's holding it and makes a video about it.
Yeah, I'm going to do chapter by chapter breakdowns for lore, which that might take me a legitimate 10 years.
Yeah. But this whole rant also, I mean, even just showing that it exists, just to prove to people that they're retarded. But that whole sentence there, the whole monologue he just gave, right there was filled with such passion and filled with such effort, and that was even
filled with great vocabulary as well.
Exactly.
May I point out.
So the idea that this man is just trying to siege you for your money, he even said right here he's losing money on this project.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing what I wish, like if I were to write, I would do, especially if I'm working in someone else's universe. If it's my own story, I can do it the hell I want because it's my world. But when I'm working somebody else's, I have to obey by the rules.
May I just answer this comment real quickly?
Sure.
Joe does believe we can eventually see Dagu. Just a matter of talking with the author again. From what I understand,
after Supernatural Encounters.
From what I understand, it's very likely we could see it as early as the end of this year, but most likely next year, as long as things go according to plan. Blue Pig, I'm not babbling about climate change. Blue Pig, I'm not Ryan Kinnell. Noah, yes, he assumed the gender of a character based on how they were portrayed in one source,
went back to fix
but the other source said it wasn't the case. Same tier as Ewok's time travel. Look, I don't know what you're talking about now.
He's talking about, because in the 80s Ewok tie-in comics, there is a moment where R2-D2 and C-3PO are in a ship and they accidentally time travel to the future.
Yeah.
Right? And then they go back. And they literally don't know how it happens because it happens in one panel and then in the next couple panels they're back.
Yeah.
So he's trying to make a diss because there's something silly in an 80s Ewok comic.
Yeah.
As
now,
it means to show why we're
Blue
stupid.
Pig, the copies will be arriving Sunday to Joe Bongiorno. He has all the boxes ready with everyone's address already on it, and he will be sending them out if everything goes according to plan.
I feel bad that I never bought it, but I just couldn't get the time.
It's gonna be online. Don't worry.
Yeah, it'll be online to read forever.
Yeah.
But
so anyone have any thoughts?
I have two things I want to say. Maybe three, actually. I'm going to say them all at once.
Whoa, Slov serious now. He ain't trolling anymore. Buckle up, everyone.
Let him talk.
I'm sorry, Slov.
No, it's fine. One, yes, hopefully Mommy will get her novel released soon. Two,
never mind, he is trolling.
Okay, that was trolling one. Two, Brendan, what you should do, that's really cool that you're going to do a video series dissecting every reference in Supernatural Encounters, because that reminds me of how when in college they'll have whole courses dedicated to breaking down one book or one novel. And so what usually they'll do is that they'll have a textbook that will be the novel. But the reason why it's so big of a textbook, they need a textbook, is because almost every sentence, for example, for Ulysses, they are dissecting, because generally in a book like Ulysses, each sentence has 2 or 3 different meanings to it.
Right,
It brings all the different context. So
I've already seen double meanings in Supernatural Encounters. There's stuff that infers 2 different things in one sentence. It's some insanely
It's the Silmarillion of Star Wars.
Yeah, and so that's really cool that you're gonna have a video series accompanying that. The video series accompanying that. That's really cool.
So
please do that.
So, I'm already working on the prologue because I've already read the prologue and it shouldn't be too long. Imagine that one would be 10 minutes, maybe 20. The other chapters might be a whole hour long, so it's going to take a lot of editing.
Do that, because it'd be really cool to just I get Supernatural Encounters in the mail, I break it open, I'm gonna start reading it. I'm not gonna get the references, but maybe I'll read the prologue or something, and then I'll have your video. And I've read not hardly anything of the EU. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's the intention.
Well, then what if in the future too?
I'll be
go
flashing
back and watch all those videos. Sorry.
Can I?
No, you're
mention
good,
something cool.
Sure.
So I was just playing this mod and I captured a random building and it built me a free bonus unit for the map. It's the fucking gunship from Bounty Hunter. The
Bounty Hunter game.
Yeah, the pre-LA8, like the pre
interesting.
Clone Wars
The PS2
gunship
game.
that you fight in the Coruscant level. It's the Coruscant security gunship.
That's a really neat detail.
Except it's in all gray and it looks really good. Like the modeler did a great job.
It's tan in the game, right?
Yeah, it's tan and
That's
it's like
right.
two or three different shades of tan.
You have to get one of the grenade launchers to beat it. It's annoying.
And I actually really do like whoever made read the lore, because the grenade launchers in Star Wars have ridiculous rates of fire.
Mm-hmm.
So the grenade launcher just goes, just sprays grenades everywhere. It's crazy.
It does, awesome. Yeah. You got to be on the ledge at like the right distance to do it too.
So Slov,
I had one more thing I had to say, but I forgot what it was.
Well, while you think about that, the general idea is that it'll have pictures of the pages as I'm talking. Plus, I will put pictures of what the reference is, like a visual depiction if it's a species, a planet, etc., or a storyline of an image depicting that, and I'll mention the original source. But there's stuff in here even I don't get. There was like a reference to an obscure toy line in the 80s of goblins that were released by Lucasfilm, and they had a funny name, and it's mentioned that there's an obscure planet in wild space where those creatures exist.
Brennan,
supposedly.
I think before you release every episode, or even while you plan every episode, you need to go through each chapter with Christopher Nelson. Like, just send him your notes and then say, Chris, what did I miss?
And also Joe. I've already been asking.
Oh, nice.
I've already been asking Joe various stuff, and he mentioned something that was a connection, and I was like, oh wow. But some of that stuff is spoilers that I'll keep to myself.
You could just, now that I think about it, you could just ask Joe to read the script of each video before you do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
You know what you need to do?
The Cliff Notes version, anyway. The Cliff Notes version. Then he can say, oh yeah, what about this?
Absolutely, yeah.
Brandy, I just remember my third thing you need to do, which you may already be planning to do.
All right.
Because you're smart.
Yes, sir, Slavy.
You need to try and get as much of the personal information when it comes to some of these authors, because you're growing your channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they're kind enough, and if you see that they're passionate enough about it, maybe if you're walking around with Marcel, try to get some of their stuff and have them on your channel. That'd be really cool. I'm sure they'd love to come on here.
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they'll do it. I mean, really, like
special interview with Matthew Stover and the Revanchist.
That could be our live stream.
Can you imagine me sitting down with someone like Abel G. Pena, a continuity master for all that he's done? Like, he's insane.
What would be funny is that if you got them all on at once, like in hindsight, you set it all up.
I don't think that would happen.
Probably
a panel is something that needs a panel is something that needs some pre-organization.
Yeah,
it would.
And a topic,
imagine,
and, you know,
I'm not saying it happen at once, but like, let's say there's a few more Legends cons, they get to know you a lot more.
Imagine that I had like Matthew Stover, or no. Imagine I got Barbara Hambley on with me somehow.
Oh my gosh, Dan would be so happy.
I invited Noah on as well.
Oh no!
That was
no,
disastrous.
No.
I hate you.
There's a world where Noah talks to Barbara Hambley.
Get Dan.
Guys, I just found another cool nod. They have a Kappa shuttle in this.
From?
It is an old West End Games. Like, this was the predecessor to the Lambda. It's actually closer in size to the Sentinel landing craft, the big troop carrier.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, a prequels, you know, this is what they used to use type thing. So it never really shows up in much Clone Wars stuff. But that is a deep cut for lore. Like, this map is now my favorite map.
Yeah, that's really cool. Blue Pig wants to see my address because everyone else has seen his.
Well,
you can start with yours, Brennan.
And then forgot it.
Well, here's the thing, Blue Pig. It's shipping to my old house, so I don't care if you see that. But also, Joe's not sending me pictures of everyone shipping labels. Have Marcel pretend to be your dad, and he can say that I'm terminally ill. Wow, but then it would be given away when
you're around for the next convention.
When I'm around for the next convention or next stream.
You survived. The doctors don't know what happened.
Also, I'm guessing that we couldn't. Well, all of my.
Oh no, the doctors would know what happens. He was so happy to meet them; it gave him the will to live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a miracle. I think also my beautiful, gorgeous, long locks of hair might give it away as well that I'm healthy.
Hey, there are other types of things that don't take your hair that can kill you.
True.
This is really funny what Blue Pig just said. Like, what if you got Troy Denning on and you wanted to get Noah on here for that stream?
I was gonna say, like, if you want to get
Anderson
something worse
and then
than
bring
just
Dan.
Noah and Hambley, you can.
Me and Denning
it's Denning. I can't do this.
Maybe I could tell Denning beforehand that Noah's his biggest hater, so
Number
we
one
could troll
fan.
Noah the entire time.
I mean,
No, what if we had Denning trolling Noah? So I told him all the in-jokes on the Quality Autism server without anyone else knowing. Told it to Troy Denning, and then had him like use all the in-jokes
against him
to get at Noah. Yeah.
If Noah, well, I mean, like if Denning's cool, he'd probably do it. Like it's just to have some random German kid.
Matt Wilkins said he's one of the coolest authors he met in person.
Yeah,
like,
I
a
believe
really
it.
nice guy.
I just,
Yeah,
you
like,
can see by his
the only
demeanor.
thing
He
is,
just
like,
writes
he's-
darker stuff.
I mean, it's all about being inside.
Noah, he has a superior intellect.
He has a wife.
His wife. Broken pole, you can't.
I think Pico died
Wow,
a while back.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Okay.
You guys have been talking about like boring shit.
I'm sorry.
Pico.
No, but like I know Maxine was like at one point she was like, "Yo, can I interview you?" And she's some random person, so he said no. But also like he's still writing like a bunch of books currently, whereas all the authors, minus like Matthew Stover and a few others, aren't actively writing.
Stover's
at this
writing
con.
books.
So, well, Stover's writing still.
I
He's
tried
writing
to get
Age of
in.
Cain.
I
He
tried to
hasn't
get
released
in.
one in 11 years, but it's
I
coming.
was gonna do an interview with
Troy's an
Nathan
active
P.
writer.
Butler.
Oh, nice.
About his Tales short comic specifically and the writing process for it, like how it got contacted by Lucasfilm and stuff, but it fell through unfortunately.
Oh, that's sad.
So I'll try to do that again at some point.
Yeah,
Flex
like
your
in the-
knowledge, Brennan. Flex your knowledge in front
Yeah,
of them.
definitely flex
You'll
it.
impress
You
them.
got the most
But,
knowledge
yeah.
out of all of us.
I don't know about that one.
Go
You
interview
got a good
authors.
portion. You're like a walking, talking encyclopedia.
I felt
You're now
brain leaking
replacing
as-
Stevie B, so you should interview authors.
I felt like I've been brain leaking a bit as of late.
Same.
It happens to everybody.
But I've been.
Not as much as Noah
Okay,
or
Pig,
Matt.
here's the thing. That started as a meme. And then I just leaned into it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
That's it. Me telling you
another
to read
author-
Acts of Cain is me doing you a favor.
Another author I want to get an interview with is one that I've talked to on Twitter. Well, X, I mean, Blaze Your Glory. But when I was on X and there's an author on there named Jay Watamaniak. He's written 4 short stories for SWOTOR, and he's written some of the game content. So I'm hoping to get an interview with him as well.
That'd be cool. Get video.
X Noah. Get it right.
Yeah.
Not that you would know. You don't know how to use the
You can still
internet.
call it whatever you want.
He
Very
doesn't
funny
use
take.
Twitter.
Yeah, it's not Twitter, Noah.
He doesn't use it. He doesn't use any social media except for Facebook and Discord. 'Cause
I've never
50.
been on Twitter. I'm on X, clearly.
Yeah.
It's very different than Twitter.
X gonna give it to you.
I downloaded Threads and it was horrible.
Yeah, it's
I like how
awful.
Brennan said that
really
it's
bad.
getting close to 2 a.m. and he should start to wrap things
Well,
up, and we're still here 40 minutes later.
The supernatural
yeah,
encounter
then I had to
fix
then
it.
I had to lay down the law.
Oh yeah.
It's very respectable, I agree.
That's why we
But,
love Brennan.
I mean, this
He
is
lays
fun.
down the facts and.
I feel like I don't get to talk to you, all of you guys, as much as I used to. So it's fun. you know?
Here
Did
I
Matt
am.
ever show up?
No.
Matt.
He had his own thing
Matt
and had
was
to go to bed afterwards.
Matt was gonna join afterwards. He sent me a text and said he'd be joining in 10 minutes. But then he said that his brother's kids started running about, so he lost his window or something like that.
I believe those are called nephews and nieces.
Yeah, nephews and nieces, otherwise known as nephews and nieces. Exactly.
This little thing started running around.
Very astute observation.
Gremlins were.
Oh yeah,
gremlins. Yeah.
Honestly, children are like gremlins, you know.
Just
can I quote you on
midnight.
that?
Yes, Slov. Well, technically, I am a child by law, so.
God,
yeah.
I always forget
That's
that.
also
Brendan, Pig's comment reminding me. So, when are your cousins coming? And when are you going to do Wife Hunter 2?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to or not, but yeah,
you have to.
So my girl cousins, who I love very dearly, don't misconstrue that, Blue Pig. They're like sisters to me. I adore them. They're all amazing individuals. They're coming to visit me from Scotland. All three of them are coming over this Thanksgiving. But then that got me to thinking. Matt made Wife Hunter with his sister's friend, and I think a cousin. So, what if I recreated Wife Hunter and did Wife Hunter 2, the sequel?
Yes.
You've never heard of Wife Hunter?
You don't know?
It's the amazing Matt Wilkins video.
Have you never seen Wife Hunter?
You
drop your
before we
video
turn off
game.
this
I'm
stream.
gonna,
Play it now.
I'm,
Yeah, turn it off right
If you're
now.
gonna
The
play,
video
I'm
game is
gonna
not as
leave
important
because I
as
want to go
this.
to bed.
No, you need to watch it.
I've seen
Watch
it
now.
I've seen it.
Watch it again.
Pico.
You have to watch it again.
Pico.
Yes.
You must. Also,
I
we
wanna go
might
to
as
bed.
well, after this, watch Sing Along 2 as well. Or Shrimp. That's another
Yes,
classic.
please. And then we need sleep. We need sleep. After
Yeah.
that.
I'm surprised
yeah,
Liv isn't telling you to
I'm
sleep
going
right
now.
now.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, Pico. Thank you so much for joining.
Night.
You're always welcome.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's nice to meet you, Die Ghost Fish. I don't know.
Thank you.
It's nice
I
to
am
meet you,
getting-
Pico.
I am now
well.
terrified that Zinj is gonna drop in on me. It's fucking Iron Fist.
Don't be
but-
terrified. He's pretty cool, dude.
It's
Zinj,
just bad. Just push
and
him
now
over.
I will remind everyone that Zinj is a fictional character.
Yes. Well, I'm playing a game and I'm right
Yeah,
up
I
against
understand.
territory.
I understand.
Just pull his mustache. It'll be fine.
Alright, come on. Wife Hunter. Play it.
Wife
Do
Hunter
it.
time. Slav, do you like this video?
No,
I'm
I think it's
watching
very cringe, but I like Matt though.
Well, have
That's
you seen
why it's
Shrimp?
great.
Have you
Because
seen Shrimp?
it's cringe.
Can you pause your game,
Wait.
Die Ghostfish, so you can see this beautiful
I am,
footage?
yeah.
Okay. You're. Can you guys hear it? Test.
Welcome to the
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
Okay,
turn it
here
up
we
a
go.
bit.
It's on full volume.
Done it.
Hey, and welcome to the Wife Hunter. Today, we're going to teach you, mates, how you can get a woman. Now, there's usually 3 different places you should go to look for one. The mall, the cinema, or, in some cases, Walmart. But today, we're going to the park. So come along, mates. You may learn something. Follow me. First rule in wife hunting is you got to be very, very careful when hunting women. Because some women, well, most of them, a good woman is very endangered species, especially the ones with hearts. So, here's one. Come on. All right, we have one just a few meters ahead of me.
What am I going to do?
Look at that. Look at it. Oh, isn't it a beautiful one? All right, let's see if we can nab it. Come on.
It's like that song, every move you take, every step you take. I'll be
Yeah,
watching. It's this video.
Whoa,
in the
look at
song.
this one. Right on the nabber. Here we go. Look at this one.
Jesus.
This one's got, come here, look at this.
This would not be okay today.
Rare earrings on this one. Plus, this one's wearing makeup. Kind of rare in some Pentecostal women. Now, what we have over here is sandals. Not very bright for running from your wife hunter. Now, this one's a feisty little one.
At least you acknowledge
But
it's a stalker
as you
song.
can
like-
see, it's a little too young.
At least it's his sister,
So we're gonna
and
throw
not
it
a
back.
stranger.
Come on, boy. Come on, get
I don't know if that makes the better bread.
Nah, well,
All right. We're gonna go let that one go off, and we're gonna
Hang
find us
on.
another
Matt
one.
has like
Come on.
4 brothers and how many sisters?
no, he has 4 brothers and 1 sister.
And that was it.
Wow. Imagine growing up in a household with
One's a doctor, one's a singer, one's a writer, and one's
Wow.
a barista. That's his brothers, which is amazing. And then his sister's a chef or a cook of some kind. He mentioned it in the stream.
Nice.
And yes, I'm such a Matt
Imagine
Wilkins
growing
fan
up in
that
a
I
house of 5
have
Matt
that
Wilkins.
memorized. I know it would be crazy. 5 Matts. Wild.
Okay, continue.
All right. Yes, sir.
Well, here's a really nice one sitting on the bench. Come on, let's see if I have a go at it. Come on. What? Hold on.
Stay away from me.
Oh, come on. She's a runner. Come on. Come on.
She's a runner.
Oh, good God.
Oh, blimey. Bullocks. Oh, I think I cracked me a rib. That's all right. Some of them tend to get away from time to time. If they run at you like that, it's best to try to just get a gun and take them out by the kneecaps.
Oh,
Or
God.
something. Okay. We have one more here. Seems to be reading. Already preoccupied. Easy bait when they're already preoccupied, mates. Come on, let's go take a sack at her. Wow! Look at this one. Now this is a real good one. Look at it. Come here. Oh, look how beautiful it is. Come on, look at this one.
This
Look
is
at
the
this.
one that grosses
Look,
me out
this
the
one has
most,
red
actually.
hair. This one's it's feisty. The red ones are always little feisties. Look at this.
Oh, God. This is
That's
terrible.
true. That is true.
It's not wrong.
That is right.
What's ironic is he doesn't like Mara Jade.
Yes.
So it's kind of funny.
That's his actual wife, I guess?
Oh, now.
I think
No.
so.
This one seems
No,
to be
it's
just
not.
a little bit
His-
feisty. Oh!
His
Little
wife's in
nipple almost
another
tried to
video we
bit
should
me.
watch, though.
All right, let's go get her, mate.
I don't need to know all
No,
that.
his new timeline is retarded.
From what I hear, horrible,
like another
but
one
I've not
got
seen
away.
it yet.
That's all
Oh
right.
yeah,
Chris
Brennan,
puts
we
Young
need to
Jedi
watch
Knights
those
before
before we go to
and
There's
bed.
always
Tron.
more fish in the sea.
Huh?
And Pico's left, so you can't see it.
Who does?
Well, we had a
Matt,
great show.
because he's
Caught
rereading
a
it
few
now, he
women.
thinks it doesn't
We
fit
didn't
to
get
be
in for
after.
keeps. But
He
next
doesn't
time,
understand that
we'll
the
be
Second
better to
Imperium
do.
is a separate faction from
Maybe
the
go to the
Empire.
mall or the cinema.
Yeah, but
Something
everybody
real
keeps
nasty.
calling them the Empire
Anyway,
at various
that's about all the
times,
time we have. So
which
until next
shows that
Oh,
and doesn't accuse the Empire of breaking treaties or anything like that. Like, you think you're getting attacked by Imperial assets, they'd at least bring up that they were going to have an argument with the Empire about it, you know, with whatever was left of the Empire.
Blue Pig. Come
You
on,
can
man.
cut-
I love. Just want to
It's
say I
your
love
own, man.
Matt's like outfit there.
I mean,
It's like,
not gonna lie. If we were gonna, if
it's a
a
look.
Husband Hunter was gonna happen, it would be with me, Brendan, and Marcel.
Oh, God.
what?
I don't
What
want
do you
to.
mean?
Brennan's like, wait a minute. Wait, I didn't sign up for
wait. Alex, what do you mean?
It'd be really funny.
We're a trio, but what do you mean?
Exactly. That's why it'd be funny.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds
Okay,
so
Brennan.
weird.
So you need to do 2 versions.
Oh,
One
no,
is
no.
Wife Hunter the recreation. One is Wife Hunter the sequel.
Wait. Are we at? Oh man, I'm trying
no,
to
I'm
think
So
about
kidding.
it.
I'm
you have
kidding.
to
I'm not gonna do
redo it
that.
the exact same way.
I'm thinking.
But
who
my
would be
idea would be that
Alex,
like
who would be tackling who though?
I would be, and like I would be
you would be.
successful. Yeah, I'd be successful
who
with
would
you,
you
but then
be-
I would try to do it to
What?
Marcel, and he'd punch me, and that would be the end of the video.
So you're saying I would be easily able to be taken over, and Marcel would fight you off?
Well,
Considering that he's
Marcel's
legally
like-
still a minor, that's very
Marcel's
disturbing.
like-
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's-
Well, the issue is, you see, that I already have the video with me as a cat. So regardless,
No,
it's
a
just
classic
on brand.
video.
Yeah.
no, it's not on
No,
brand.
this
We
this
don't
video's
need to
not
get into
actually
it.
happening. I'm just
Yeah, you're
having
just
fun
being silly.
here.
Yeah, we know.
The only person who would actually want that is Blue Pig.
Yes, that was indeed actually hilarious. But no, Blue Pig, we're not going to
Do any of your weird ideas.
Yeah. No, not Slov and Titus. They're good buddies.
Slav and Titus would be good. Oh my god, yeah. Slav, Titus.
What?
Who else? Oh, look at
All right.
the jokes. They might as well go all the way into it.
Oh yeah, Liv has the greatest first impression of Slov.
Oh,
From the
was-
first
oh,
VC
yeah,
one that
that's
you
how
were
I
on.
met her. Yeah, it was great.
You were acting crazy that time.
Quote,
Like,
is that
after-
a woman?
Yeah, after you left though, she was like, "Is he usually like that?" And I was like, "Not usually." You flew off the handle at the end. It was crazy. It was
What did I-
amazing to watch though.
What did I do?
I don't remember, but you were just saying some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Liv, is this
pretty much.
true?
Yeah.
I was there for that one, right? I'm pretty sure I was.
And then you started asking who it was when you heard the sound of a woman talking. You were so
I thought I was like, because I know
befuddled.
there's a lot of like children in this like community, but I wanted to make sure. I was like, wait, is that a woman in here? Because like
Or a
like,
child.
this is like it's like that's very unusual. Like women don't generally like.
There aren't a lot of women EU fans. There's Meg
Who
reviews, I
show up
guess.
online anyway.
Well,
I mean,
I've
online-
kind of
online,
realized
yeah.
with Liv is that she's like not here for the Star Wars. She's
No,
here
she's
for the
not.
community, and then
Yeah,
she
the
just
drama.
happens to read Star Wars books too.
No,
which is really cool.
she's been
No,
reading
kidding.
Star Wars.
No, yeah,
I
she
we're
just
gonna
said
do
that, yeah.
we're gonna do a discussion about what she's been reading at some point. A video.
Yeah, just gonna be reading all the basic. But she, me and her were talking today, and she might be getting in the what is it? The those Karen Travis Clone Wars novels, because I was telling her about my hardcover collection and how those are.
She's reading the
ones that tie
daily
into the cartoon?
on Solo stuff right now.
Mhm.
Slav.
Yeah, I saw that she posted that in the server. The reason why is because, like, I was saying to her, I have my hardcover collection, and those hardcovers for those Karen Travis novels are very, very expensive. And she was saying, I wonder if my library has them because her library, because generally with libraries they have a lot of hardcovers that generally are mainly paperbacks because
It's a library. It needs the durability.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and so like that's like what she was going to see. Maybe I don't know if she's going to get them or not.
Rip. This is nonsense. I lost a whole.
I know
unit.
Noah's going to be mad at her though. You're going to read Karen Travis? What the fuck? Oh, sorry, my bad. What are you doing?
You can't read Karen Travis or Denning because Denning and Travis are bad. I hate
No, the accent was better earlier.
When
Now
you
it
said her
feels
Clone
bad.
Wars stuff, do you
I'm a
mean
bit
like
tired and I have to keep it quiet so it can't be as good. Because when
Do
I
you
do it
mean,
louder,
like-
I sound more accurate.
you mean the stuff that tied into TCW or the stuff that or like the Republic Commando stuff?
Oh no, that's not the side that tied into TCW.
The recreation of the
I don't,
pilot.
because it's late and I can't. My parents
Yeah,
can't.
the
they don't wake
recreation
them
of
up.
the pilot movie is not very good.
But you are Demigol, Noah.
However, the recreation, even though the recreation of the pilot movie is not very good, the actual No Prisoners is excellent. I think it
No
might be your best
Prisoners
book.
is actually really good. Really
It has
good.
Travis's best moment, as we all know.
best book. Travis's best book.
It's so
It
good
also
that not
has
even Noah can deny it.
So Titus told me this. You guys who've read it, tell me if this is true. Does she make Captain Rex a drunkard? Is that his backstory?
What?
No.
No. She makes Pelion a former womanizer. And
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I thought
Also,
he told
no,
me that. He
Rex-
said that.
He also
like-
tells Ahsoka to
Rex-
put on some
Rex-
damn clothes.
Rex
yeah,
does,
he calls
Rex,
he calls
Rex
Ahsoka
does drink in
underdressed.
one
It's
sequence,
great.
if I recall.
That was
Rex does
Travis's
drink in
best
one
moment.
sequence.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
thought-
slut shaming
not-
Ahsoka was great, but the
Not a drunkard, but he does drink in one scene.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the clones drink in the show. It's fine. They,
Well, Travis very proudly has not read any other EU books.
that's that. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, she's
Yeah,
literally setting
Scout's
up.
in her books.
Yeah,
Well,
and she
didn't
nails
necessarily
Scout's
read it.
characterization too. It's
I've
pretty
been told
spot
that
on.
she didn't really get
spot on.
Scout's
There's no
character
way that
very
she
well.
just didn't read it.
I've been told the opposite about Scout by other people, but
I mean,
she,
other than the fact that
I mean,
he's friends with
literally all of
Mandalorians.
the main
That's
plot
not-
of, the main plot of No Prisoners is heavily reliant on Children of the Jedi and is also
Mhm.
setting up the
There's no way she
child,
didn't read it. Yeah.
the child of Pelion who shows up in the second to last New Jedi Order book.
Well, that might have
There's-
been the editorial team because they've
Sure,
done
they
that
might have
before.
mentioned that, but
Travis
she really
has said
seemed- she
herself
seemed
that she has
very
not
much
read
like-
anything
That
else.
is indeed true.
she
And
said it, but I'm not entirely sure I believe.
Yeah, she might have been angry.
you guys can continue to talk after this, but I'm falling asleep.
Oh.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I'm going
Are you
to
gonna
have
leave?
to end the stream, but you can still talk in the back room.
Oh yeah, because
if you would like.
Yeah, just because it's not going on to YouTube doesn't mean we're not able to talk.
Yeah,
So
we're
that's
gonna go in the green room, guys. We're gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
you're
going to
gonna
liminal space.
the
Brennan,
green
stay
room
for a
party.
bit before you leave because I have something that can only be said off YouTube.
Yeah, I know. So, well, I don't know what you're gonna say, but I got you. But that being said, thank you to all of the guests who joined us tonight. Thank you
this was
to
great.
well, I'm gonna mention our fallen comrades, TuckWes, Marcel, Blue Pig, who was here for a little for like one word, but still appreciated you coming on. Appreciate everyone for sticking around in the comments and talking with everyone. Appreciate Blue Pig keeping it civil and appropriate.
You're
that was
welcome.
much appreciated. Thank you to Alex, Ghostfish, Slov, Greyholme, all of you for coming on.
And
Oh,
thank
and
you
Blue
for
Pig joins right at the end. Here, say something, Blue Pig.
It's the wrong account. Oh,
What did you say?
he said hey.
Oh, he said hey. Insightful. So now he said 2 words on the stream. Thanks for watching, Anonymous Gamer. You've been here for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Thanks to everyone
Anon.
for coming on for this. It's always fun to talk EU with other like-minded EU individuals, and then it's also always fun to talk to Slav.
Yeah.
So,
Indeed.
Yeah.
farewell.